It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
And we welcome you back in. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes. Baby Chet at the switches. Good to see you, fellas.
It's great to see you, my man. How you feeling today? You ready to rock and roll? You ready to cook?
I'll let you do the cooking.
All right.
I'll do the eating.
I'll cook it up Walter White style for us today, you know? Get you that matching.
Blue Magic was American Gangster.
Yeah, that's Denzel.
What were they cooking up in Breaking Bad?
What were they cooking up?
Was there
That's a
a name
phenomenal name. There was no doubt a name.
Yeah. It's worth a Google.
It
probably.
really is.
Yeah.
What was this thing? Let me get this real quick for you, AR.
Yeah, I mean, I know the whole thing. I'm the one that knocks and all that stuff, but I don't remember.
Say my name.
Yeah, but I don't know what the...
Blue Sky? Am I making that up?
That sounds about right.
So we got Blue Magic in American Gangster and Blue Sky in Breaking Bad.
The scene with Denzel and Cuba Gooding in American Gangster, when he's trying to rip off his, called branding and all that, and brand loyalty and trademark infringement, and Cuba's, you're throwing all these big words at me very similar. And since I don't understand it, I'm going to take it as disrespect.
It's disrespect.
Now I just intertwined 40-Year-Old Virgin and American Gangster, which I don't think has ever been done in the history of analyzing movies.
No, I don't
Probably
think so.
not.
I don't think so. Speaking of 40-Year-Old Virgin, I don't know if you've ever heard of Tiny Desk. The Tiny Desk concerts is great. Like some musicians, it looks like they're going into like a little library, and they perform some of their songs. Kevin Hart was on there for April Fool's the other day because he's got a rap personality called Chocolate Dropper, and he turns into a rapper. And it was absolutely
droppings.
Drop up.
Oh yeah,
not droppings. Drop up. I got to run this by you real quick because I kid you not, this happened last night. So sitting back, watching, what was I watching? Some baseball stuff last night. And then late night, I was like, you just throw something on. So I threw on Full Swing on Netflix. Kind of, getting the golf vibes going and all that for the Masters next week. And AR, I am not joking when I tell you that I had a dream last night that I was your caddy at the Masters.
Bagger Vance?
And you were on tour. I was your caddy. We were at Augusta. And I don't know if you won or not, but I do know that you were playing at a high level at Augusta. I remember
with you
everything.
on the bag.
I was on the bag. I kid you.
Okay, the fact you remember it is outstanding.
And I'm one of those people, and I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, to where I do remember a lot of my dreams. Is that a good or a bad thing? Do you know?
I don't think
Does it
it's
mean
either.
anything?
No. Sometimes I want to force myself to go back into the dream.
I feel you on that.
Because I have some vague memories of it when I wake up, and I'm like, it was pretty good.
I have
Get
this
me back
thing
in there.
To where sometimes when I watch something late at night, that transfers over into my sleep.
Yeah.
And I have dreams about what I was watching. And because I was watching Full Swing, that led me down a path of me being on the bag for you at Augusta while you were playing in the Masters.
You were dreaming of that percentage you were going to get off of my winnings.
Darn right.
By the way, the moral of the story is that it's only a dream. It will only ever be a dream, and there'll be no chance. I'm not even talking about playing. I'm just talking about playing there one time.
Well, we
playing
played
a hole or two.
The three of us played it. Tell them where we played
on
it.
a video game at Turtle. That's right.
We played it, though.
We played, and we picked, and the funny thing about that is we were able to select the 9 best holes there that
it was cool, man. I had a good time. But I just wanted to run that by you, or that I had a dream last night.
I don't know whether
I was
I'm
on the
depressed or excited. I don't know. It sounds awesome. Yeah. I wish I could have joined you in your dream.
Okay.
Is there a way? The suit feels very Severance-like. All right. So what you're saying is my Audi was playing golf at the Masters while the innie was just hanging out doing nothing.
You talking belly buttons right now?
No, I'm talking about Severance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's it. I have no clue whether I had a good time, but it sounds great. All right, well, did I make the cut? Sounds like I did.
It was like a Saturday. Yeah, it was a Saturday type of vibe.
Moving day at the Masters.
It was definitely Saturday type of
baby.
vibe. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Pimentos for everybody.
Darn right.
We got Adam Schefter on today. We call that a make good in the business because we had to float him, and then he turned around and I guess floated us. Is that what happened? I can't really remember how.
Had to imagine he was rocking and rolling down at the owners' meetings, catching a plane back and forth, all that stuff. I wonder if he has a PJ.
No.
From ESPN. If
no.
If you're Adam Schefter.
If they chartered, they may have chartered, if all their ESPN crew, I could see them maybe.
Because I'm assuming ESPN does have a jet. And if I'm Adam Schefter. Well, yes, he's got one.
He's a wheels-up guy,
He's a wheels-up guy. Because if I'm Schefty at this point in my career, that's got to be in the contract. Just because it's only a couple times a year. Like when I go to Indy.
I'm going to guess no.
When I go to owners' meetings, when I go to the Super Bowl, put me on the PJ and make sure there's some champagne on ice when I sit down, too. Maybe a charcuterie board.
Yes. Next time, ask Dom Tiberi how to pronounce that. One day somebody dropped off something for him.
Yeah.
And actually, you know who does a great impersonation of it is Colin.
CB?
We have to bring him down here to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, Don was trying to get us all to have some, and then he was like, I don't know how he tried to pronounce it, but it was nothing what you did. It was very funny. All right, so we'll have Schefter on 12:30. You can ask him. I think if this was on a betting board, I would say no on the PJ is going off as the favorite. I think they could book him first class commercially, maybe with his crew or other people, or maybe the crew drives down.
Oh, no.
Well, they like that.
Tough.
Hitting the road, all just like
Shefty and Orlovsky and Laura Rutledge all just on like a team bus?
I don't know about her and those. I'm just not talking about the on-air folks. I'm talking about the production folks that have to do all the equipment.
Yeah, if
the
I'm
key
Schefter,
grip,
we're not doing that.
The best boy.
Yeah.
Those people probably going down there.
If I'm Shefty and you guys
sounds like a great little East Coast journey down there.
I'm on the PJ. That'd be my goal if I'm Shefty. I've earned that.
You're saying yes? You're betting yes?
I'm not confident that it's I think the betting favorite is no. But I need to ask him,
You'll
Shefty.
bet the value on yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Speaking of betting, I would ask you this.
Yeah.
No 0-7 team has ever made the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Okay.
And I find that a little bit interesting because it's 162 games.
It's a lot.
There's plenty of time to come back.
Yeah.
Atlanta is 0-7. And no team's ever done it. They'll be the first. And guess what Vegas is saying? They agree. They're still going to make it. They're still a big favorite. Minus 225 to make it at 0-7.
They have the talent to do it. Their roster is loaded, as we know. They've been there, won a whole bunch of important games over the last couple of years. Their division it's tough.
There's no value in betting with history.
Correct.
That's what Vegas is telling you.
With Philly and the Mets in their division. Yeah, I'm not going to bet against them right now.
But if you did, you'd get plus 175.
You get plus 175 right now. Okay.
The other thing is Ovi is 3 away from breaking this thing. And if he scores in every game leading up to the Jackets, guess what happens?
Please don't do this.
It's going to happen. It's back-to-back against us. You know what's ironic? I told you guys this a couple months ago. He scored his first ever NHL goal against the Jackets.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it bookend?
So you're talking about those games. They are on the 12th and the 13th, the Saturday and Sunday coming up. The Saturday game is 12:30 puck drop on ABC. So in front of the whole world. And then the next game is puck dropping at Washington at 6 p.m.
Sivo told us the other day the only thing you wouldn't want, well, you don't want to lose the game. If he scores and you win the game, no big deal. I think that I kind of read into it that way. But the other part that I could hear in his voice is, especially as a blue liner, is that you don't want to be in the picture. Forget about the minus. You just don't want to be, because it's not, there's a little bit of being posterized for
Correct. That. No doubt. So you're saying like when Ovi has that,
you just hope you're not on the ice.
In his man cave. You don't want to be in the back row when Ovi's sitting there drinking an old fashioned on his couch in the basement.
And I don't think, and maybe even more importantly, you don't want to be the goalie.
No.
That gives it up. Even if it's a great shot or it's a power play, no shame on you. You still don't want to be that guy.
Well, we talked about it today, or was it the Ohtani 50-50 home run? Or I don't even remember who the pitcher was. I really don't.
Like, I remember 50 home runs. It's not a.
But I'm saying, like, I remember the moment.
Yeah. That's because you don't know any Marlins players.
Well, there's also a point to be had there. But that's what I was going to say. I do remember the team, but I don't remember the pitcher. And so when you're a part of those historical records going against you, do we really remember who
not
was
really
against
it's
them?
not us.
It's the player.
It's for them.
Yeah.
And their family.
Yeah, you don't want that on the
Their
resume.
family. I don't think you want that.
I hear you.
Yeah. Because you're right. I have no clue. Could I tell you who Judge hit a 60-second off of? No.
Yeah.
I can't, but they can.
Thank you.
They're the ones that are telling the story. They're the ones writing it off.
You going over tonight?
It's a game time decision for me.
They need you in the building.
I came in today, Maddie, it was a struggle bus on the way in. I don't know what's going on.
You've been grinding.
Yeah, I have, man. It's
like
this
your
is what
Jordan
happens
flu
when you
game.
play your own doctor. It's without a diploma. You just kind of navigate the waters. I mean, who knows me more than me?
Yeah.
Right?
This is, I think, how Bobby always told you how you would feel.
I
He
finally
can
learned.
get you ready for something, but the downside, when it wears off, there might be some negative effects going on.
That story is real quick. I had a dream weekend where I was going to drive. Well, I'll tell you next. It was actually kind of a bucket list weekend.
It was.
But I was feeling awful going into it. So I went to Dr. Carpenter for a prescription.
It's dangerous.
I had a fever.
That's a dangerous doctor to
And
see.
the prescription was more Carpenter. All right, we will come back. And I'll tell you a guy, Maddie, who might need a White Castle endorsement if this happens. You know why? Because he would be then the slider.
Wow.
I'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale. With same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REDEEM to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Expect some dry time early this afternoon as temperatures climb into the low 70s and upper 60s. We'll see winds die down as well out of that southwesterly direction around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Returning showers and some embedded thunderstorms move back in this evening as we fall down to the lower 50s overnight. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Erica Colora.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Anthony once got Jack Nicklaus to quote the movie Caddyshack, so he's got that going for him.
The last time I saw a mouth like that, I had to hook it.
Which is nice. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Let's go while we're young.
Indeed, Maddie. We got a prize today?
We sure do, big dog, because we're handing out again today a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili. Skyline nachos are back. Crispy tortilla chips, queso blanco, topped with Skyline chili and shredded cheese. And more heat with Skyline's extreme habanero cheese. Skyline nachos and new spicy nachos at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. So stick with us throughout the program. We'll drop it like it's hot on you with a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili.
All right, listen closely and you'll get a chance to win the prize from Baby Chet. You'll get to talk to him on the phone, too, our brand new producer, which is a bargain at any price. Maybe you don't even want the gift card. Maybe you just want to call in and talk to him.
Yeah.
CB used to have private conversations when we need him the most. And he was on the phone in there. And we're like, we're not giving anything away. Who's he talking to?
Chopping it up with our wonderful listeners.
He's
doing about anything.
Yeah, he was doing a sideshow. Yeah.
Be a lifeline, you know?
So,
you need some relationship advice, sports
yes,
advice.
Life coach.
This is our Ask Cole segment.
Baby Chet is ready for you.
Yeah, maybe we turn the tables and flip it on him. Maybe we ask him some things.
Yeah.
Maybe we put you
please
into the
do.
white hot spotlight.
Easy. Because then you have to come up with the content.
That's true.
Careful what you wish for.
That's right. Speaking of life coach, Dr. Carpenter, it was my that weekend that my brother had got me for my birthday, learn how to fly. Not like toss you out of a window and flap, but just go up in a plane with a pilot here in Columbus, and you get to fly while you're up there. He'll land and take off, not in that order. And then I said to my brother, I really appreciate that, but that's not for me. Like, what do you mean it's not for you? It sounds amazing. Like, yeah, I'm just not a heights guy. I get a little more anxiety, want to be on the ground in control.
Yeah.
And he said, well, what could go wrong? Where do you want me to start? Like, I don't know anything about planes. Well, that's what the pilot's for. And I said, well, what if something happens to him or her? And he goes, well, what could happen? He's a human being. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he dribbles that dome off the top. I don't know. Maybe he has a cardiac event while we're up there. What would you like me to do at that point?
Let's pray.
Seriously, if that happened.
Probably just start crying.
Or find the parachute, if there is one. So I said, why don't we do this? You know, like to drive and drive fast. Speedy car, speedier than that. And I said, they got this thing where you could drive an Indy car. Down in Kentucky at the Speedway. I'm like, why don't you swap it out for that? He goes, all right, I'll swap it out for that. So that weekend, parlayed that into a trip to Valhalla, to play Valhalla, and my back was killing me on that Friday, just killing me.
Like, of course it was.
And I've got 18 holes at Valhalla, and the next day, strapped into an Indy car in a tub, trying to go real fast. And Bobby goes, I'll get you in the car. Like, what do you mean you'll get me in the car? He goes, if you want to do this, I'll get you in the car. And so he prescribed I don't know what.
Concoction?
Yes, a concoction, some sort of a medical cocktail of sorts, and played golf, nearly got my first hole in one there. And then the next day he got me in the car and went very fast, faster than I thought I was going. I think it turned out about 160. They're bank turns there. So, and by the way, when somebody wrote me on Twitter that time and said, hey, I thought these things were supposed to go 200. And I go, but these Indy cars are supposed to go 200. And I go, yeah, at Indy. Like, give me a break. 160 wasn't enough? Not Mario
crowd out
Rothman.
here.
Right, exactly. So anyway, I had a great weekend. I come back.
Yeah.
Hosting a show with Bobby. You're in the booth. And I'm wearing shorts. Did it in the summer. It was very hot. And Bobby looks down and goes, what's that on your leg? And I go, what? And I looked on my calf, and it was a bruise the size of a cantaloupe.
I remember it, man. It was wild.
And so Dr. Carpenter almost had me bleeding out based on this bucket list weekend I had. But what a way to go.
He promised you getting in the car.
That's right.
He did not tell you what was going to happen after that. That was all up to you. You had to deal with it.
So that's the story. The slider, as we talked about the other day, could be Shedeur. And everybody knows the son of the NFL legend is expected to draw a lot of interest based on who he is, what he's done, but everyone is also adding the disclaimer that this quarterback class isn't a can't miss, that there's nobody in it that's a can't miss. And so it's kind of interesting to see where he may go. So if he slides, Matty, what's the intel on that?
The intel, according to our guy Adam Schefter, who joined Pat McAfee's show, is that maybe it won't be the Browns as the only team that passes on Shedeur Sanders.
And it certainly feels like the Cleveland Browns are inclined to look elsewhere aside from quarterback. And it's starting to feel like the New York Giants at number 3 are starting to look elsewhere other than quarterback. So if the Browns don't take Shedeur Sanders at 2, and if the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders at 3, and that is the feel that I'm getting recently, where is Shedeur Sanders going?
Dramatic. Where is he going?
Well,
let's come up with something.
I think, and I want to give, because I didn't think of this until I saw it from a guy that we talked to at Radio Row, and it's Evan Cohn. And he said on Sportsmanlike, and I want to give him full credit for this because I think it's a pretty good idea, that what about the Los Angeles Rams? What if the slide happens all the way down to, where are they picking? The Yellow Rams are picking at 26. As far as a landing spot goes for Shedeur, I actually like that for him. And when you look at where they are with not only their head coach and Sean McVay, the young weapon that they have in Puka, and I know he's saying he's going to retire in a few years, but that's a few years away. Kyron Williams is a really good running back. But I think more importantly, the system that he would go into with McVay, if you're Shedeur, yes, you're not getting on the field right away with Stafford. I don't know if that's a year or 2 or whatever the case may be. But if this does turn into that steep of a slide for him, that's not a bad landing spot at all. So I just wanted to give Evan Cohen credit for that because I hadn't heard that out there, and I thought it was a really good idea.
You know why you hadn't heard it? Because nobody had him going that late. So no one really thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't see the Rams trading up to get him. And so most of us didn't think of it because we don't think he's going to be there at 26.
Right.
That's a pretty deep slide.
It is.
That's not one that I would have him going that late. But what you find is that once you get past some of the quarterback needy teams, like I wouldn't see him getting past Pittsburgh.
I love that you brought that up, Eric, because
they're at 21.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. If we get to the draft and you're Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan and all the decision makers for Pittsburgh, and you don't have a commitment from Aaron Rodgers, at that point in time.
Even if you do.
Well, let me ask you this. If he's not there, meaning A-Rod in the Steel City and Shador's there at 21, you got to take him, right?
I never like the mindset of, well, we're not over the disastrous 2022 first-round pick of Kenny Pickett, so we're kind of shell-shocked a little bit.
Yeah, who cares?
No, it's a different dude.
I agree.
It's a different year. It's a different guy. It's a whole different thing. And you're not swinging really big. If Rodgers is the starter, the only difference is, and Chet will be able to speak to this, is if you're getting Rodgers, you know you have 1 year probably to really tap into whatever he's got left. Mm-hmm. You're not buying Rodgers at that price to just bridge it to the next guy. You want to actually take advantage of Rodgers. So then you got to invest in the offensive line and tackles and protecting Aaron Rodgers. So at 20, so if you get Rodgers before the draft, then I would think at 21 you're taking an offensive lineman. Like, and I'm not, I don't know how the board's going to fall.
For sure.
But I'm just saying it's a little counterintuitive to take Rodgers, not care what this year looks like, and then take Shador at 21 because it just, I know you'd be picking your future, but then why even get Rodgers?
Well, that's a great point, but I would say to that, I don't think any rookie is going to contribute to a win now season. I would rather trade the first round pick for a player then, because I'd rather have veterans than rookies if we're trying to put together a win now scenario for the Steelers. I don't even think they're close enough to be in win now mode because I'm not getting so high off of Aaron Rodgers' name. It's been since his second MVP season of the back-to-backs a couple of years ago. So I guess 2021 or 2022 since he's been good. His final year in Green Bay wasn't good. So I don't even know if getting Aaron Rodgers automatically, like, okay, man, we got 1 year. We got 1 year. It's because that would be Super Bowl or bust. If it's only a 1 year plan, then it's not like this winning window. It's a winning season, and I don't think anybody you draft at 21 is going to be like, oh, yeah, this rookie is going to put us over the top.
No, not really. But I guess what I'm saying is if you get Rodgers, you're a playoff team. You were a playoff team without him.
Well, you know what? When you put it like that, I guess.
And once you get in the tournament.
I don't know. I watched that playoff game. We sure didn't look like a playoff team, Maddie, did we?
No.
I thought you hung with the Raiders. They didn't crack you over the head. They, what, a couple touchdowns?
It was a slow burn.
Yeah, those last
probably the good way to put it.
Those last 4 to 5 games, you could kind of feel they were leaking oil. For sure.
I agree with you. You've gotten in every year, but you're not in the games when you get in. But if you got him and you get in a one and done, maybe you feel like you have a puncher's chance.
Which shines a light on being in the worst place. And you could argue, Cole and the Steelers and that fan base, you're in the worst place because you're always winning those 8 to 9 to 10 games a year.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you're in the postseason, and that's something to be proud of to a certain degree. But you're also, when it comes to the draft, never in position to be high enough to get your quarterback of the future. So they're caught in that weird spot where it's like you respect what they're doing and Mike Tomlin always being at 500 or above 500, but it's kind of hurting you maybe on the back end of it because you're trying to find your guy of the future in the draft at the most important position, but you're never picking high enough to get him.
All right, we'll get Schefty's take on it in 2 minutes. And remember that old Dak rumor? I'll ask him about that as well. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free Healthy Leg Screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, that time of the week. And we connect with our guy, the senior NFL insider for ESPN, the one and only Adam Schefter, and he's on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fangist hotline. Shefty, how was the Breakers?
It worked out well. It worked out well. It was a nice little visit, and we go from there.
All right, good. Well, Maddie has a question for you on that.
Shefty, we were talking about you a little bit earlier, and I know you've been at the owners' meetings and you do a lot of traveling and all those good things. And I brought up, I said, our guy Shefty at this point in his career, I would hope that ESPN is putting him on a private jet to get to some of these events. Shefty, are they putting you on the PJ? No, that's disappointing.
PJ, you're out of your mind.
What do you mean? You work at ESPN. You're Adam Schefter.
Please, please. That you got me mistaken with some different Adam Schefter. I mean, that's not the world I live in.
For the record, I wasn't opposed to you flying on a private jet, but I said no. I said he probably flies down there commercially, and if you want to upgrade yourself. I don't know, maybe they upgrade you or however that works, but yes, I did not think private jet.
No. By the way, for the record, ESPN has never once sent me on a private jet. Never once, and never will. So,
never. Don't say never, Adam. We all have a dream for you. All right. So did you catch any wind? This was just in Ohio, I think, but a long-time TV radio dude in Cleveland, Bruce Drennan, threw out the other week that he had a source that said the Browns were negotiating with the Cowboys on a trade for Dak Prescott. Did that ever get on your radar?
No. He's got an untradeable contract.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the business of trying to, bash anybody or anything like that, but I don't believe there's anything to that.
Okay. Shefty, there's video out there that Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf linked up, I believe, at UCLA to get a little throwing session in. Is that a serious Blues clue we need to follow, or is that just guys doing their thing in the offseason?
Well, I mean, there's certainly something there, right? But the fact of the matter is, Aaron Rodgers could have signed with the Steelers a month ago, could have signed with them 2 weeks ago, could have signed with them and he still hasn't. And ultimately, it's the only job he currently has if he wants it. But it's still not done, and it's still out there. So, again, I would think that the two sides eventually wind up together here, but they haven't yet. It continues to go on, and you just never know what he's thinking. So until it happens, it hasn't happened. But obviously, he's thinking about it because he visited the facility and met with coaches for about 6 hours. He went and worked with DK, but he hasn't committed yet. It's almost like, a guy who's dating somebody and, you're dating, commit. Are you committing or not? You're gonna propose or not? And there's been nothing that has brought them together.
So they're waiting on him. So he's not mulling over an offer from the Steelers right now?
The offer's there. That's not the issue. In my mind, the issue would be, does he want to play in Pittsburgh or not? It's not about money. It's not about any of that. Do you want to get it done? Can you get it done? And that's where they're currently at.
There's a lot of chatter over the last couple of days, Shefty, about the tush push and where we're headed with that now. From your vantage point, the people that you've been talking to over the last few days, what's next when it comes to the tush push and whether this thing's staying or going?
Oh, I think it's tracking to be eliminated. I think it's tracking to be that we've seen the last of the tush push. I didn't think, at the end of the season that we'd be in a moment where there would be such discussion. It would be so hotly contested, and we would get to the league meeting, and they would actually table it till the May meeting in Minneapolis. And I just think that tells you that there are people that want to play out of the game, including the commissioner himself. And they're going to find a way to get it done. Now, they had 16 votes at the league meeting this week in Palm Beach. They need 24 to ban it. They weren't there yet, but give it time. I believe that they'll get there, and they'll find the 24 votes to make it such that we've seen the last of the tush push. That's my guess, my read into this whole situation, because we're already further down the road from having to play band than I ever would have thought we would have been. But I think there have been a couple of moments that really brought further attention to it, including Frankie Luvo leaping over the line, delaying the game, officials threatening to award a touchdown to the Eagles if that type of behavior continued. And I think that there are people who have said that they don't believe the play is safe. There's no injury data about that, but yet they can come up with that and say that. The sport itself might not be safe. So I don't know how that plays any different, but they believe it is. And I think there are people that just don't like the play. They find it to be boring, predictable, an advantage for the Eagles. And I think there are enough people that we're going to find a way to get this overturned and banned by the main meeting in Minneapolis.
Adam Schefter with us. We talk NFL with him every week. Jimmy Haslam gave Browns fans a little bit of what they wanted, a little bit of pound of flesh on the Deshaun Watson deal, although I don't know if I've heard an owner come out and say, yeah, we kind of blew it on that one, or we swung and missed with a guy still on his roster, on his payroll. But he gave them what they wanted maybe to hear in admission. But I think I also read into it that he says, we got to get this draft right. And some people read that as they got to make sure they get the right player. I read it as maybe it's, I'll give you the admission I blew it with Deshaun, but you've got to still be patient with us because we got to dig ourselves out of this. And if we don't take a player at 2, you kind of knew where I was heading with that. So what is your read now on Jimmy Haslam's marching orders for his guys with this draft?
I think that they have to get it right. I didn't see the full transcript. I saw the swing and miss comment like everybody else. That was the headline, swing and miss, which, by the way, everybody knew anyway. But it's another thing when the owner of the team says it.
Mm-hmm.
So he acknowledged it. We go on from there. My read on that, without seeing the full comments, are that they've got to get this right. They got to get the quarterback position right, one way or another. Whether or not they go quarterback at 2, which I don't think they're going to do in the end. I don't think that they're going to go quarterback at 2. I think that they're going to go quarterback somewhere early in this draft, but not at 2. That's what I believe right now with 3 weeks to go. And by the way, I started 6 weeks ago on the idea that I thought they were going quarterback, but I think that was with the idea that they loved Cam Ward, that Cam was going to be there too. And then obviously we saw the momentum swing to Cam, and Cam be in a position to go number 1 now, which he's going to do. And so that leaves Cleveland, I think, not going quarterback at number 2.
Schefter, I want to go down to Miami quickly with you and ask you about Tyreek Hill. I think there's been some cryptic tweets out there or whatever over the last few days, and people reading into those things. From your understanding, what's going on with Tyreek Hill? Has there been any discussions of Miami wanting to move on from him and maybe trading him elsewhere?
I've not heard that. Obviously, there's a lot of noise and chatter, and I think Tyreek sometimes can do that on social media, but I don't think the Dolphins are looking to move on. Look, there's been enough noise and speculation around it that eventually we'll get to a point where it wouldn't surprise me if something happens. I don't get the sense that anything's close. So could something change? Yeah. It's always in play. I don't see that right now, but the draft would be the final window, I think, for something like that to happen.
What is your understanding, if any, about the finances and the window of what Trey Hendrickson might be wanting and what the Bengals would be offering?
Well, it shouldn't be a hard deal to do. Like, the top pass rushers in the league are in the 30s, even in the 40s now. So to me, he would have to be there, I would think, on the basis of the type of player and person that he is. And I don't think the Bengals have gotten there yet. And if they had, I think the deal would be done. But they're not there. I don't know exactly where they are, but they're not at a number that he finds palatable and acceptable just yet. It shouldn't be a hard deal to do. He's a little older, so I would think that maybe he'd be willing to not shoot for the tip-top numbers, but he obviously is going to have to be compensated as a guy who led the league in sacks last year, which he did. And the two sides have not gotten close just yet.
How close are the Niners and Brock Purdy to getting a deal done, Schefty?
Today, not close, but that could change with one phone call. I think Brock Purdy has an idea of what he's worth, and the Niners are in a tough financial situation through no fault of Brock Purdy's that they have to kind of adhere to right now. So if Brock Purdy wants to do an extension this offseason when he has 1 year left and the Niners have a tag for 2 more years, if all those things are going to happen, I don't think that it's going to be at the number that Brock Purdy would want. But that's a choice he has to make. Then he could go to play it out. He'd make $5.1 million this season. The Niners could tag him again for $41 next year, $51 the year after. He's basically unofficially, contractually tied to them for 3 years and $97 million. 3 years and 97. So, I think that helps frame the Niners' offer. They'll pay him more than that, but they're not going to pay him way more than that. And so that's where the breakdown occurs. And I think ultimately it'll be up to Brock Purdy. Does he want to take what they're offering, whatever that may be, or does he want to bet on himself and try to play it out for a year or two and see where it goes from there?
One last really quick one. I would bring it back to Trey real fast. Did you hear anybody offering the Bengals for him, or did that kind of dry up?
I don't know if they've offered. I mean, there have been conversations with various teams at various points. It's not a simple deal to work out because you've got to compensate the player and the team.
Right.
So there are two elements to this that have to be in line, and if they're not, then there's no trade. And so it doesn't. I don't know how you quantify close or not close, but it wasn't close enough to get a deal done on one end or the other, if not both.
All right, my man, your next negotiation, we're sending in Matty Ice. You're going to get that private jet, man.
You, Schefty.
Hell or high water. We're going to get it for you.
I don't care if you send in Scott Boras. I ain't going to get it.
All right, my man.
All right.
Stay well. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Adam Schefter with us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, we'll stay with the NFL and the draft and maybe a future home for Will Howard. One guy seems to have it. We'll tell you what that is next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
At Twin Peaks, one of the things we know best is beer. Celebrate National Beer Day on April 7th with one of our signature taps. Local crafts, ales, lagers, and seasonals. We have them all ready at a teeth-chattering 29 degrees, served in 22-ounce mugs. Cheers!
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Act now. Visit BlueJackets.com/tickets.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REDEEM to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. By the way, second hour, Dan Dockich, Final Four preview. A little bit on the Maryland debacle. All that good stuff.
I'm not there yet with my excitement. Maybe it's just the wait for the Final Four. I know Saturday when it's okay, it's here. I feel like I'll get there, but I'm not throughout the week I can't wait to get to the Final Four. It's kind of been out of sight, out of mind for me.
Which is weird, and I agree with you, but it's weird because you couldn't have handpicked a beefier Final Four. And so, I don't know. I've said it before, that the tournament has lacked normal madness. Everyone can admit that. It doesn't mean it's been awful. We just haven't had the moments we're used to. That's all. I thought it was fairly predictable for March Madness, which is the most unpredictable thing in sports. And I said it before the tournament. I would have been very surprised if we got a champion that was outside the top 6 to 8. It felt like that. These teams were analytically so much better. The NIL era with the big boys buying the great players. It didn't mean we didn't get a McNeese or you didn't get the Maryland buzzer beater. UConn could have taken out Florida. They probably should have. And then the tournament would have had a different vibe to it. Yeah. Texas Tech, while they weren't a Cinderella, they were 3. They should have taken out Florida. So we just haven't had that. And when you get 4 number ones, it's weird because we haven't had it in so long. Mm-hmm. You would think people would be very excited. I just think it's what you said. I think you knew it was a week away. There's plenty of time. The hype is different than for a football game or a Super Bowl. And so we're kind of here. And then there was no, there was no unique story. It was a predictable story, which is a good one. Mm-hmm. And now we just have to wait and see how it plays out. We should get, you know what else ruined it? Not ruined it, that's a bad word. I think affected the hype for me. Because I just saw Duke and Houston take 2 seeds and tell them you don't belong on the same court with us.
Yeah, curb stomp.
Elite Eights, like on that side, were just so ridiculously blowouts that I think we lost part of that weekend, which was such a good weekend. And now we're like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe these games will live up to it. They have to. These have to.
I hope so,
Vegas
brother.
can't get these that wrong.
No, I hope so. I don't think they'll get them wrong. First game will tip off shortly after 6 o'clock, Florida-Auburn, and then that'll be followed by Houston and Duke right around 8:45-ish in that 8:45, 9 o'clock window Saturday night.
All right, trying to predict quarterbacks is fruitless. And then trade-ups, I think, are fruitless. But what we can do is identify teams that are needy and teams that might. So if you kind of go through the picks, we know that Tennessee technically needs a quarterback. We know Cleveland needs a quarterback. We know the Giants have need at quarterback. And so that's why we're well, how can one's going to go? It's Shedeur. That's it. That's what everyone says. It'll probably come true that either somebody will say, no, we love him, or somebody will say he's not good enough to pick there. Not for us. New England doesn't need a quarterback. Jacksonville doesn't need a quarterback. Vegas traded for Geno. Jets just signed Justin Fields.
Real quick,
yeah.
Does Geno being there on a 2 to 3 year contract, I think, for me, that's tempting for me.
In this draft, though, at 6?
No, I'm saying if Shedeur's there at 6, I'm not.
He's in play.
Yeah, I think he has to be
in play.
Just because Geno Smith's in the building. And I know they just paid him on a 3-year deal, but it's something I would strongly consider there at 6 if I'm the Raiders.
Would it be in play for the Jets? They just paid Justin $30 million. I don't think so.
No, the timing doesn't feel
Carolina at 8?
No.
They seem to be back on board.
I think they want to see one more lap around the track for Bryce Young.
And then we get to 9, where the Saints have publicly committed to Derek Carr, but privately they realize that they really only have, the 1 year left, most likely, with him. And so this would be an interesting one with the Saints because it has that feel to it, doesn't it? The Saints at 9. Derek Carr's contract restructure gives him this season, but nothing's guaranteed beyond that. And Spencer Rattler, while I thought he showed a little something, I think that's what they would be debating. Spencer Rattler, who we got as a 5th rounder, do we think of Shedeur 9 overall versus the 5th rounder we got in Rattler? How much better do we think he is?
I think he's much better than Spencer Rattler, me personally. Spencer Rattler, to me, I don't think it's the long-term answer for New Orleans. Neither is Derek Carr. And also when you look at their whole situation with getting a new head coach in the building and Kellen Moore, he wants his own guy. He wants his own guy that he believes in, and maybe that is Shedeur. Maybe it's Spencer Rattler. I don't know. But I know Field Yates, he threw out his mock draft, which I believe was a 2 or 3 round mock draft. And he had in this mock draft the New Orleans Saints and Washington Commanders doing some business together, with the New Orleans Saints trading up to 61 and drafting Will Howard. And he said, quote, Derek Carr's contract restructure means he will stick in New Orleans for at least one more season, but nothing is guaranteed beyond that. Spencer Rattler flashed in his rookie season, but he's no sure thing as a 2024 5th rounder. Howard, though, is accurate and mobile. He threw 35 touchdown passes last season, and he ran for 7 more scores. If you are Will Howard, this is the type of place you want to go to. Maybe New Orleans isn't the perfect place, but you want to look around the corner in a year or two and see an opportunity to get in a true quarterback competition and possibly win that job. So that's, to me, not a bad landing spot at all. You've got an offensive-minded head coach that I believe would know what to do with Will's skill set, and you would look around and say, I could probably beat out Spencer Rattler for the job in 2025 and 2026 and be the guy hopefully moving forward down in New Orleans.
This is why you have to wait, and you got to see how the board flies, and I'll tell you why. Because trading up to get him, you may not have to. Who is going to pick Will Howard between 61 and 71? If you look at Yates's mock, he doesn't have another quarterback going off the board in round 2 after that. And the teams picking before the Saints in round 3, the Giants presumably already got their quarterback in Shedeur, as did maybe the Browns with Tyler Shuck at 33. So that's why you have to wait and see who's out there and what teams have taken their quarterbacks.
And also, if you really like the guy, just go get him. Right? Like, I have no problem with teams doing that, identifying somebody you believe in and not messing around and having any chance of anybody leaping over you to go get said guy, especially at that position. So if you got to give up a pick or two or whatever that looks like, I would have no issue at all with any franchise doing that if they've identified a guy that they think can be a dude.
So a fourth rounder to move up.
If you believe that much, go do it.
Yeah. That could be possible. It'd be very good for him. It's one of those things where some people will view it as overdrafting him. Some people won't, and there's no science to it.
Right.
They have their own science. I'm not saying that. They view this stuff analytically. But, yeah, I could see it because you kind of keep going down that list. Right after the Saints, Chicago, no quarterback. San Fran, you asked about Purdy, no quarterback. Dallas, no quarterback. Miami, no quarterback. Indy, what do they have now?
They got Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson.
Okay, but they're not picking
and bust.
But they're not picking one at 14. I don't think. Although
Daniel Jones keeps getting paid.
Atlanta, no. Arizona, no. Cincy, no. Seattle, no. Tampa, no. Denver, no. Well, that gets you to 20. And so then Pittsburgh's in play right there. All right, we'll come back. Top of the hour, SportsCenter update. Trey Hendrickson is now fine with battling the Cincy brass in the media. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Why are we quizzing kids on dinosaurs?
Comedian Sam Morrill, The Errors Tour.
Some cop pulls me over. He's like, what kind of dinosaur?
Live at Davidson Theater, April 10th.
I'm like, a Stegosaurus? He's like, step out of the vehicle.
Get tickets now at kappa.com.
Skyline nachos are back, and now there's a spicy version. Get them with Skyline's cheddar or habanero cheese, topped with fiery jalapeno slices. But hurry, Skyline's regular and new spicy nachos are only at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a Shelter Insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Busy night on The Fan and ESPN Columbus. We've got hockey on The Fan tonight as the Blue Jackets host the Colorado Avalanche at 7:30. Elvis gets the start in goal. Jack Johnson returns to the lineup on defense. Damon Severson comes out. Again, puck drop 7:30. Pregame coverage here on The Fan gets underway at 7. The Cincinnati Reds, their first road trip of the season, starts tonight in Milwaukee when they face the Brewers at 7:40. Nick Lodolo gets the ball for the Reds opposite Nestor Cortez. Pre-game coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 7:10. The Guardians have an off day. The Buckeyes got a commitment from 4-star safety Simeon Caldwell of Jacksonville. He is Tim Walton's nephew. This one's sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala, or online at rcdrv.com.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
Thank you, sir. Hoo-ah. All right, second hour of the program, Dan Dockich coming up 1:30. Get his pick to win it all. I think it'll be the same. I think he and I had the same final before the tournament. I had Duke beating Florida. I think he had Duke beating Florida. You have Florida winning it all, just not over Duke.
Yeah,
so
I had Bama getting there.
Yeah, but you got a chance to get a winner, and that's what it's about. We were talking about Rodgers a little bit. I wanted to read this to you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Because there is a certain guy that believes he knows why he hasn't signed. I could ask the resident Steeler fan in here. So Ben Roethlisberger has a theory about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Schefter kind of confirmed the theory a little bit, but he kind of laughed at it because it was basically old news in his mind. Confirmed or not, we know that Aaron Rodgers is a free agent. Chet, do you know what Big Ben's theory is on why he hasn't signed yet? Do you know this, or are you guessing?
No, I don't, but I know he has a podcast and was probably espoused on that.
It was. It was on the recent pod.
Footballing.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the theory, Matty.
Do you
know the theory?
I honestly have not seen this.
What do you think the theory is? My original thought was it's compensatory. It's like if they sign him after the draft, it affects compensatory stuff, and they don't want to have to deal with that, and maybe they'll be patient and just wait. So that was my theory, but that's not what he's saying.
So just to make sure I have this right, this is Big Ben's theory on why he hasn't signed in Pittsburgh yet?
Correct.
But he thinks that he's going to?
Correct.
I think...
Is this the McAfee deal?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
he has a theory on why he's waiting.
Could it a theory on why he's
Schefter
waiting?
told us it's not about money.
Could it be like somewhere else he wants to go? But there's not a lot of places he could go.
Well, there is one. No, there's more than one, but I'll give you it.
Yeah, what's he saying?
He believes that Aaron Rodgers is secretly still holding out for the Minnesota Vikings because they're in win-now mode. Do they have a championship roster? I don't know, but they're competitive, and that's what he believes.
Okay.
Now, for that to happen, in my mind, is that J.J. McCarthy would have to either get re-injured this spring, or somehow not be able to show the Vikes, give them confidence that he'll be ready.
That he's not healthy right now. Like the rehab process isn't going as planned.
Or they're worried about the season. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just not all there. Or the other part is that if the Vikings are coming off 14-3 and in win-now mode, that they don't want to hand the ball to a guy who's never taken an NFL snap to a roster that can win and get to the playoffs and challenge. I don't view them as a Super Bowl team with Rodgers, but I view them, if you ask me, do I view them more of a Super Bowl team with him or with McCarthy? I would absolutely pick Rodgers.
Your belief would be in Rodgers? I can...
A little more than the guy I've never seen take an NFL snap.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I can understand from Rodgers' perspective why he would look at, let's say, just Pittsburgh and Minnesota and feel more comfortable with Minnesota. The playmakers, I like what Pittsburgh has done this offseason with DK bringing him in, pairing him opposite George Pickens. You look at what they have in a tight end with Freiermuth. That's pretty strong as far as a three-headed pass-catching monster, if you will. Still have to figure out what they're doing at the running back position with Najee out of the equation. Do they want more of a bell cow back to pair with Jaylen Warren? We'll see. But when you look at Minnesota, and obviously Justin Jefferson is the headliner there with Addison and Hockenson and the gang over there, like, I don't know if the weaponry is drastically different on both sides. Justin would probably tip that over to Minnesota side of things with just how elite he is. But where I think the biggest difference here is in probably where Aaron believes more as far as play calling goes, it would be in the head coach versus Arthur Smith, who's the offensive coordinator for Pittsburgh. No knock on Arthur Smith, but you look at what your head coach and KOC has done up there in Minnesota with having to deal with quarterback injuries and the offense still seeming to have a nice flow to it. But more importantly, what the dude just did with Sam Darnold. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would probably be leaning that way too.
So that's what he's hanging out for.
I don't think Big Ben's far off in that.
May not be.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
I feel like it's not reality, really.
Yeah.
I feel like if the Vikings if the Vikings were going to protect themselves, although maybe the way Sam Darnold played at the end of the year, it changed their entire opinion. Maybe once the pressure became so big and Darnold didn't play well, that all those wins were kind of diluted in their mind.
Maybe.
Because I do feel like if they were in win-now mode and they just won 14 with him, if he would have looked better even in a loss, they might have said, we got to tag this guy. We got to take one more swing at this.
Was that 40, the tag?
Yeah, 41. 40, yeah. We got to take one more swing at this. And they didn't. So it does tell me that the reality is that Darnold looking so poor at the end, and the fact that they do believe in J.J. McCarthy, they felt it was okay for us to move on. Yeah. And now Rodgers, and this may only be on Rodgers' side, or it may be just a guess by Ben. Who knows? The other thing we learned, well, we didn't learn a lot from Schefter in the Trey Hendrickson situation, other than the fact that he did kind of admit that he doesn't think he's looking to become the highest paid dude of the pass rushers, but that he wants a lot more than what they're offering. He didn't think they were close. And it may be years, it may be structure, it may be incentives. Maybe the Bengals are saying, hey, we'll pay you. We'll get you there. You got to prove you can do it again. Maybe there are some sack incentives or whatever. But Hendrickson was on with McAfee, and Chet set this up. Which bite is this one?
This is the one of him talking about how he doesn't need to be the highest paid defensive end.
We don't have any desires of being highest paid or, first in line. We try to be as patient as possible, but when you have things like OTAs coming and guys like Sam Hubbard, who's a tremendous captain for our team last year, that leaves a vacancy for that. And I'm excited to fill that. But how do we reach that before we get there? And those are the things that matter when you're talking about a Super Bowl. It's in the little things and the little details.
See, I think that's very calculated and smart by him to throw that out there.
Kind of leveraging it in the public.
Because not only exactly. Because not only am I productive on the field with what I do with my sack numbers and all that, but who's also going to be the leader of this defense? Who's going to be the face of this defense? Because you look around, and I don't know who you're really banging the table for as far as those leadership things go. And they may not care about that when it comes to negotiation, but I think he was very calculated and smart to throw that out there publicly, because you did hear that a lot about Sam. That while Sam wasn't the best pass rusher in the league or, a top 10 pass rusher in the league or whatever, he was very valuable to that locker room based off of some of the character things he brought and how he could galvanize that side of the ball. So he's playing the game right now publicly, and him going on McAfee, he knew what he was doing because he saw the quote and heard what Katie Blackburn had to say. Mm-hmm. And can imagine that probably upset him a little bit. So he said, well, let me go on a public platform and say my piece of this as well.
So here's a couple things on that. I feel like the Katie Blackburn thing was twofold. It was to try to rile up the fan base and say it's not us. He's asking for way too much. That's why she did it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying she should have done it, but I'm telling you why I think she did it. She did it because if you can alert Bengal fan that he's the one holding this up because he's being unrealistic. It's not us. We love him. We want him, but we want it to be realistic. We just gave money to T and Jamar, and obviously Joe got his. That's why she did it. I'm not saying it was crazy smart, but I think that's why she did it. And then the other part is I could hear it in Trey's voice. I think he's calling her a liar. We're not close. Mm-mm. You've lowballed me. That's what he's saying. Because she's probably saying, well, he should be happy technically with what we're offering. And he's saying, well, I don't need to get 35. I just need to get 32.
Right.
And you're maybe offering me 28. So that's kind of, I think, where this is. And that's why Schefter kind of admitted that they may be far apart. She knows that he was making $16 million. So she's thinking we're giving him a massive raise to a guy that is coming into us wanting $30+ million because he's our sack leader on a bad defense. And so that's kind of where it is. But that's a reason she did it. And the other thing is he's not young. Like, he's not old, but he's also not.
He's right there in that tricky window when it comes to making decisions, financial decisions like this when you're a front office at a high dollar.
The reason that I thought he would get it or somewhere close to it is two reasons. One, the year he just had, and two, the desperate need that they have that he just talked about. And number three, they're in a winning window. Yep. They want to win. They feel they can just do it offensively. Good luck. All right, we'll come back. Maddie, there may be a quarterback sleeper in this draft, and you may know him. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1. Schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2. Meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3. We get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale with same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco.
ECO.
A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Expect some dry time early this afternoon as temperatures climb into the low 70s and upper 60s. We'll see winds die down as well out of that southwesterly direction around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Returning showers and some embedded thunderstorms move back in this evening as we fall down to the lower 50s overnight. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Erica Calora.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Give it a try. You'll love it. All right, we've got, well, that's not good.
Just to take you behind the curtain.
I mean,
AR Kemp comes in. He's eating his lunch. He and I, we usually get baseball on during the day. He and I both play fantasy baseball. He and I both have Tanner Houck of the Boston Red Sox. And I look at AR and I said, our guy's on the bump. We got him off to a 2-0 lead. We just got to get him, handful innings and some Ks, and he gives off a leadoff home run. It's like, why do we do this to ourselves?
This one, it's early. Baseball, I'm not going to get too crazy about, but I feel like it's just, I must be one of those, like, masochists. Like, I just want to pay for pain with fantasy. That's what this is.
Some people like that. Take yourself down to some of those dungeons,
Absolutely. Yeah, why not go all the way?
Exactly.
So he's 6'3", 220 pounds. Those were his combine measurements.
Okay.
Doing a blind taste test here for you.
Yeah.
Pretty rangy with his throws. You could tell he made a leap in year 2 as a starter, even though he was playing on a new team. his production jumped dramatically. And there was a lot of future there because he's big enough. Tough, I'm not so sure. We'll see. He's somewhat athletic. Maybe people would disagree. But he can stand in and make most every throw. And you don't have to be a finished product to be a sleeper. And nobody really expects a sleeper to step on the field and be the guy right away or play right away, especially at the NFL level. But he's got kind of a aggressive mindset. He can challenge defenses. I think if you accused him of not being rattled, I think we could poke holes in that because he's forced some stuff and he's had that horrendous game. But I think the tools are there. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I believe you're talking of one Kyle McCord.
That is correct. Give that man a gold star. Syracuse.
I'll take it. Got any dum-dum lollipops while you're at it?
Dum-dum. Gum-gum for dum-dum?
I used to love those as a kid. Getting those in school? Those dum-dums?
They're tiny, aren't they?
Yeah, as a kid, though. You crush those easy,
They're
right?
like little, yeah.
I don't know.
I know
loved
what you're
them, man.
talking about.
They were good back in the day.
But
my favorite candy, not my favorite candy, but there's something about, because I feel like a lot of teachers had those in school.
They must have, because Tootsie Pop's going to hammer it, though.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. By far the worst candy that was ever handed out in the history of candies is Smarties. I don't know what we were doing with Smarties.
Is that like a sweet tart or something?
Yeah, like this.
I've heard of them. I don't.
You probably had a few back. They're not memorable. That's for sure.
They're good.
Really? You're a Smarties guy?
I mean,
they're just like chalk.
Hold on. You say that like I'm drafting them first overall. No way. But it's just straight up sugar, so yeah, it tastes good.
They shouldn't even be drafted.
You'd rather get handed Tootsie Rolls?
Yes, all day and tomorrow.
No, that's the worst candy that you can pass out.
Tootsie Rolls over Smarties all day and tomorrow.
I mean, both are kind of on the cheap end, let's be real.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Smarties kind of remind me of like the old Pez dispenser, like those little things, or like Sweet Tarts. That's kind of what comes to my mind. But I agree, there's nothing that I would care for.
No, me either. But they were
take a box of raisins instead.
Well, especially if they come with like a little white chocolate covered. You get some of those white chocolate covered raisins.
Okay, now you're in the.
I got some of those in here.
Now you're in the
now.
Raisinette category.
Yeah,
that's not fair.
Raisinets.
That's a complete level jump that would be unfair.
I got some of those in there for you right now.
Those are regular raisins.
No, I got some white chocolates in there. You can't see them; they're kind of hidden, but they're in there.
I need like an almond attack sort of like buzzer or sounder or something. So when we get one, got to talk to Bob Taylor.
It happens randomly, man. The shells of those almonds.
We got to have an almond attack.
They just take me out.
Dum Dum Pops.
A lot of flavors, I believe.
Blow Pops with the gum in the middle.
This is a great line. I just looked it up. It said, they're the exact size and shape of Bob Barker's old microphone. You remember that old microphone from when he hosted The Price is Right? That's, yeah.
Yeah, the Blow Pops are where it's at, though, baby Ched. That's a good call.
Those are
absolutely a good call. No doubt.
But probably not better than a Tootsie Pop. Unless you want the gum, I guess.
Yeah, whatever your flavor is, whatever your vibe is.
Yeah, Smarties are on the bad list. I agree. They're on the don't need it.
Undrafted.
Yeah.
Leave those off the board completely.
Where do you stand on Milk Duds?
Not really my type of vibe. Like, I don't have any beef with them, but when I see them on the rack.
Same thing with a Tootsie Roll?
They're never coming home with me.
Kind of get...
Yeah, they're just there.
More stuff to get stuck in your teeth.
Collecting dust. That's why I'm not the biggest Butterfingers fan, AR. Like, I like the taste of Butterfinger.
Finger?
No, not that. But just the Butterfingers and how that gets caught in your teeth, too.
Yeah, but that's a huge level up from all the other candies.
That's what I'm saying. The taste is good, but the process can be a grind. Can be a grind.
Trust the process.
No doubt about it.
Who's saying that McCord's a sleeper?
It's old Petey Pablo Prisco. Pete Prisco from CBS, who covers the NFL. He threw out this tweet, and it says, the quarterback I heard a lot of good buzz about at the league meetings, and a guy I really like, is Kyle McCord from Syracuse. Teams like him a lot more than draft analysts. After the year he had, the production he had, leading the country in passing yards this year, which is still wild to say out loud when he's in that class of, you look at the guys that led the league or the conference or whatever I'm trying to say in passing yards around college football. It was Kyle McCord number 1, Cam Moore number 2, and Jackson Dort number 3, followed by Shedeur Sanders. And so it didn't equate to a whole bunch of significant winning for Syracuse, but it did equate to winning for Kyle McCord and his draft prospects now moving forward. I don't think he's going to go in the second round. Maybe in that third or fourth round, he can hear his name called. And that's just one guy who knows who he talked to, how many people he talked to. But he is saying that, being Pete Prisco, that there's a good amount of buzz around Kyle McCord's name. And maybe he's a guy that's rising up the ranks behind the scenes a little bit.
He could be. And I would not be betting on him in the pros. I wouldn't for my team. He could be fine. He reminds me of a guy who could force some things, make some big plays, drive you crazy a little bit, but he physically passes the look test a little bit. So you're not going to deny that as an NFL quarterback, but I just don't feel I'm not getting the same buzz. I know he compiled a great resume at Syracuse, big stats. Had the one awful game with all the pick sixes, but
that Pitt game was nasty.
Yeah, that was that's nasty.
Yeah, that was tough, man.
But if he's a pocket passer with good size, well, the NFL might take you. Now, I don't know where his athletic ability is right now. I mean, he's okay, right?
It's not his thing.
Yeah, it's not his thing.
It's not his thing.
You got to be really good to be a straight pocket passer in the NFL.
I also think we get to this portion of the NFL calendar to where, especially at this position, where people are just trying to find that sleeper and identify the sleeper, and they want to be on that guy. And I think it's okay sometimes to where we look at the draft class, especially at the quarterback position, and saying, it's not that great.
It's not.
It's just not that great. And this quarterback class is kind of giving off that vibe. There's usually a guy that pops off that will get drafted later, third, fourth, fifth round, whatever it may be. There's also a draft class that we look back on, and there's one guy, or sometimes there's no guys in them. And this may be another one of those. We just had a really good draft class last year, which is looking very much like an outlier as far as 3, 4, maybe even 5 guys in the same class that are going to be that team's franchise quarterback. Will they reach the highest of heights? Who knows? But when you're talking about Jaden and Caleb and Bo Nix and some of these guys that were playing well last year in year one, that's kind of rare. And so I just don't know if we're going to get that again. The history of the league has shown us that that's usually not the case.
Yeah, there are guys that can come in the league and look decent in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they fall off a cliff. It's not like Mitchell Trubisky was horrible in the stuff. Like, he showed some glimpses, but then what happened to him? Yeah. He became a journeyman backup now.
He became a starter for us for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Right. So that's all I'm saying about Kyle McCord has that feel to me, where someone...
Oh, hold on, though. But Mitchell Trubisky got traded up to second overall.
No. I'm just talking about as a player. I'm not talking about where they are. You're right. The value on... Did our guy just get taken?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm watching home run. I'm watching guys run around the bases, and it's distracting me.
But Tanner Houck will be pitching with a 2-run lead, just so you know. It's going to be a little too comfortable.
Right. We're good.
But no, that's all. It's just one of those guys that he's more value. You don't mind missing on Kyle McCord if you take him
4th, 5th round.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you're like, wow,
right.
We may have found a great backup late. Or maybe he can challenge our starter. Maybe he can develop to be a great pro. Yeah. But you're right. The swing and miss on Trubisky, trading up to get him over Mahomes, is one of the...
Yeah. Wasn't Deshaun in that? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, Trubisky went second.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mahomes go 10th, and we had Watson go 12th.
Yep.
That was an interesting one because I think the Browns traded out of that 12th pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was 17. I think, actually, they traded back-to-back years. So the year before that in 16, they traded out of the Carson Wentz pick because they signed RG3. And then the next year, they traded out of the Deshaun Watson pick.
The whole Trubisky stuff, I'll forgive teams on the Mahomes thing. Because he wasn't, like, what he is now, that wasn't that hype. But the Deshaun thing's no doubt a whiff. I don't know how you do that.
And the Chiefs needed to sit him for a year, too, because they had Alex Smith.
Too.
Yeah, they were playing well. Yeah.
We'll come back with our guy, Dan Dockich, get his feeling on the Final Four. Who's he picking? Find out in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks, you know? Like us?
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free?
Yep.
And an upgrade is just $10?
That's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done and enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, welcome back in, Rothman and Ice, and we go to Indy. Don't at me on Outkick, the Indy Sports Ticket, the one and only Dan Dockich, Double D. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm going to Vegas, getting ready to go. Taking my brother, his son, my son, 10 children against 10 adults, and it's going to be a blast.
Wow.
72 holes starting tomorrow, and let's go. Yes, sir.
All right, my man. And I know you're a guy that doesn't get caught up in the Vegas stuff anymore. You're in bed early, get up early, and feel good. Don't get caught in the net.
I tell everybody the same. I go, look, I'll do anything you want. From the time we wake up until we're done with golfing, I'll bet anything, shots, whatever. But I like, I've gambled a lot. I've been in casinos. I'm in bed. I'm ready. I'll be ready to do it the next day. I'm ready. Yeah.
Good for you, man. Yep. Show those youngsters how it's done. All right. Give me your take on it. This may be a very short answer or something a little deeper. Why would Buzz Williams leave A&M to go to a program that you may have dudes transferring out left and right, a coach that left who ripped the NIL commitment for dog crap, and it just feels weird that Buzz would go to a project like that, a guy from Texas at A&M. What am I missing here?
The only thing I can tell you, and this is what I've said, could be wrong, I think he's doing the Larry Brown thing. He's just keeping it moving, making money, keep it moving. Go to the net before it gets stale anywhere. And that's good philosophy. It's a way to make a lot of money, win a lot of games. But I was not necessarily surprised because guys do want to coach in the Big Ten. I know the SEC is all the rage, but a lot of coaches will tell you, man, if I could just get to the Big Ten, even though they're in big leagues, that's the only thing I can come up with. The money I can't imagine is any better at Maryland. The hassle seems like it's a lot more. I don't think anybody cares about Buzz Williams as, the philosopher. That I'm just glad he didn't come here because I can't listen to him. I don't want to listen to all the praying over players and all that.
Do you
I
think?
just can't.
Do you think Willard's accusations were accurate?
I do. I do because you look. If they weren't, they could have fired him on the spot. I'm not saying they would have, but they could have and said, we're going to fight paying you money because we have a cause to fire you. You're lying about our athletic department as a head coach, as a representative of the Yeah, so I think they do. And I think a lot of people are in a situation in basketball where they don't know what the future brings with this court ruling and $22 million cap. And, you got to fight football. And, Loxley came out, the football coach at Maryland, said, wait a second here. We need to keep this quiet. And then the second, football rules the roost. So I think a lot of basketball coaches are a little nervous about it, and it's going to be a major, major hassle for basketball. That's why everybody disagrees with me, and nobody seems to understand what I'm saying. But I think the Xavier job is a great job because you don't have to share with football. Sean Miller's going to Texas. They got a lot of money, yay, Rob. Man, you don't have to battle with football when you're at St. John's or you're at Xavier. You don't have the football coach trying to take all the money. And you're the basketball. I don't know. I'm sure I'm wrong. Nobody seems to agree with that theory that I have, but I'm curious how this is going to play out.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get over to the Final Four now. Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston. Which of these two matchups has you most interested? Of the two matchups we got on the 5th here in a couple of days, which one interests you the most and why?
Duke and Houston, because I think Cooper Flagg is as good a freshman as I've seen. And I think that people are underselling Calvin Sampson's team as shooters. They're one of the best shooting teams in the country. And people say, well, they're tough, they're offensively stuck, blah, blah, blah. Wait a second. The more I watch them, I'm like, hold on here. These guys shoot the basketball at damn near 40% from three. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm also looking forward to seeing Duke's flag against that defense. One of the things, I don't know if I've talked about on this show, but Calvin Sampson's team's always getting a great-looking stance, and they're very good on the first dribble. But I think Duke is going to try to pay attention if you're watching the game. The second dribble, meaning first dribble, they'll move their feet, but that second dribble gets you by Houston defenders. It's a little bit fraudulent how great they are against the dribble. Now, is that going to turn out to be true? I don't know. But it goes back to when Coach Katie was at Purdue. He's getting this great stance, and we learned, wait a second here. Yeah, they'll guard you first dribble. Second dribble, we can get past them. And that's what I think is going to win the game for Duke. Not the guy with the ball getting to the rim or anything like that, but being able to draw help and then kick it and keep Houston in rotation. Houston hasn't been in rotation very much defensively. They seem to be able to guard with their own guy. And I don't think they're going to do that against Duke. I think Duke's going to have a little offensive night. I do. That's a game I'm looking most forward to. I think Houston's very, very, very underrated offensively.
Double D, you know how the game works when you're at certain programs like a Duke in basketball, like in Ohio State in football, where you have all this talent, right? You do such a great job recruiting. Sometimes the coach doesn't get, in my opinion, enough credit. And just looking at Shire, and I know he's got Flagg and some other really good freshmen and talent up and down that roster, but you know what it takes to put it all together. And sometimes I have to imagine when you have high-end talent, that can be as much of a challenge as maybe the other way. Just talk about that job and what you've seen from John Shire walking into a pressure-packed situation following Coach K and getting this program to this point this soon.
I think there's a lot of guys that can be Coach of the Year, and I think he's one of them, if not the leader, for exactly what you said. In this day and age where everybody's old, I mean, look at Auburn, 23.2 years average age. That's an old team, and he's taking these freshmen, and it's been seamless from Coach K. Now, that shouldn't factor in a Coach of the Year, but they have won 30 or 31 games. I mean, damn. And when you take over a program and you, to your point, you get a Cooper Flagg, you get Cooper Flagg Inc., meaning you get all the people around him, and you get the other kid from Wisconsin. Same thing, first-round picks. You get all the people. Well, one of the things that's great about both those kids is there's not bad people around them. There's family around them, and they keep it grounded. But Shire has had to balance this, and he has done a remarkable job on the court defensively. Duke is terrific defensively. They understand space. They understand giving a little room because they're so long. They can still guard the shot. They can still influence the shot by playing off of people because of their length. I think they're as well set up defensively as Houston is. They're not going to get the same credit because that's kind of what Houston's bread and butter is. But I'll tell you this, I'm not sure I've seen a better defensive team in the tournament than John Shire's Duke team, and I think he's been phenomenal.
Our guy Dan Dockich with us as we preview the Final Four and a lot more. All right, you got a rematch on the other side. Florida went into Auburn earlier this year, got them by 9, and Auburn didn't make their free throws. It was a decent game, but they lost to them at home. Now you get the rematch. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I'm going to stick with Florida only because the kid, Broom is banged up a little bit. And when Florida beat them, they made 13 threes in the game at Auburn, which, you go into another place like that. I remember watching the game. That thing was jacked. And they knocked in 13 threes. Now, to me, that tells me there's a lot of mental toughness on Florida. The only thing, and this is one of my theories, when you legitimately are supposed to lose a game like they were against Texas Tech, I always think to myself, hold on here now. Maybe you're not that great. Now, they came back and won, don't get me wrong. That's the only reason I would take Auburn. But I think that the shot making of Walter Clayton, I think the inside play, I think the fact that, they can get hot. But I'll say this. Look, I always preface everything with, unless somebody goes nuts from the three-point, because both of these teams can go make a bunch of threes, but I'm going to take Florida in it in the rematch. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is going to be the difference late, like he's been. One way or the other. He makes, they're going to win. He misses, they're going to lose, but I'm going to take Florida.
Who you got cutting down the nets?
I got Duke. I've had Duke against Florida from the get-go.
Yep.
I'd make a bracket, then I don't pay any attention to it until people bring it up if somebody that I have going, far loses it. But I just feel like the most talented team depth-wise is Florida. The most talented player and the best set-up team is Duke. So I took them from jump, and I'm going to stick with that.
All right, my man. We will be watching along with you. And ready, set, Vegas. I know you'll do it right. For a guy like Double D, what happens in Vegas, you're telling everyone. That's the difference.
Oh, I tell everyone. Yeah, there's nothing bad. Like my wife's like, you might be the only guy that goes to Vegas, and I know your wife doesn't even have to work. I know. Unless I take my clothes off and jump in a lake because I hit a big putt to win a bunch of money. So there you go.
That'll be worth it, man. Cannonball. We'll talk to you soon. Be safe.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
You got it. Dan Dakich on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we come back with a Buckeye Bulletin. Ohio State beat Notre Dame for the title. They may have just beat them again. We'll tell you what that means next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Skyline nachos are back, and now there's a spicy version. Get them with Skyline's cheddar or habanero cheese, topped with fiery jalapeno slices. But hurry, Skyline's regular and new spicy nachos are only at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Save big money on your roofing project at Menards. Atlas Shingles provide the best value in residential roofing, featuring a limited lifetime warranty and up to 130 miles per hour wind warranty. Plus, save time and labor with their super wide design. Choose from 20 styles in stock, ready to take home today. Stop in to shop our wide selection of roofing products or visit Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REDEEM to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code REDEEM for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
When you buy from Pella, you could meet Brad, Bob, maybe Mike, or 54 others that make our local Pella team so awesome.
And if you buy from me, you'll get to meet me.
Just a one-man operation, Wilson?
I've got a bunch of cousins helping me, but based on their work, I'm not sure they've got thumbs.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
The tournament is underway. Is your bracket a big pile of trash like mine? Big voice guy took it on the chin this year. Anyway, check your standings in the Fan and 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled Buckeye Bowl.
The most accurate bracket, not mine, will take home $1,000. Check your progress at 971thefan.com. Wasting time has never been more fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, we begin the Buckeye Bulletin with another boom for Ohio State. And they get a 4-star safety, Simeon Caldwell, to commit to Ohio State. He's from Florida. Matty, he's the nephew of Tim Walton.
Okay. Coming to play Vorzant, huh?
So he probably had a little bit of an inside advantage.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah. Oh, the Notre Dame guy. The Notre Damer.
Is this qualifying?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, I think he might have been, I don't know, piqued by my tease that Notre Dame wanted him.
Yeah, didn't need that remark.
Yeah. He canceled the visit, sir.
And real quick,
he's not going to South Bend.
While we're here, since, Baby Chet is our new producer, and so maybe some new listeners hopping in and out.
Yeah.
Let the folks know the teams that you rock out with. Let's just get this on record now.
All right. Let's get it out of the way. Number one, it depends on the season. Could either be Notre Dame football or the Pittsburgh Pirates. So one of them is more enjoyable than the other.
Okay.
And then third place for sure is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. So there we go. Just wanted to get that out there.
Well loved here.
As he's wearing a St. Louis Blues hat today.
They are on fire. Maybe he's turning into a front runner.
St. Louis radio listeners hated me. It was awesome.
Oh, man.
Do you know how many go back to Pittsburghs I got on the text line in St. Louis radio?
Ruffling feathers down there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you'll break the record with us.
Yeah.
But no, AR, this seems like a big time get, right? And I know it's Tim Walton's nephew, so there is no doubt, some insider stuff happened. But hey, that's the game. If you can play it, and do not knock them for doing it. I'm sure other programs would love to do this as well. But yeah, it seems like a big time get for them. Number 1, number 2 safety in his class, depending on, what you look at, and all those things there with Blaine Bradford. So now you bring in Simeon Caldwell to pair with him. And They are absolutely cooking out there on the recruiting trail. The defensive staff right now cooking.
Yeah, this is you never know, right? You never know with the talent. I do know that one of his high school teammates is committed to Ohio State, a tight end, Corbin Fordham. So they probably thought this would be great to go to school together and play together. And so you just nailed down the number one safety in America, Blaine Bradford. Now you get Simeon Caldwell, who's a 4-star kid. And so this makes sense. They're the national champs. We know a lot of things are in play with recruiting these days. But I think the good news for Ohio State fan, besides getting him, is that he shut down his recruitment now. Notre Dame, USC, Miami, everybody wanted him. And so he shut her down. And he'll be coming to Ohio State.
So he's doing the same thing as Chris Henry Jr., huh? Because Chris Henry Jr. came out and said that he's shutting it down, which is great. And he's a massive wide receiver recruit, so that's good that they're getting guys, and guys are locking in. And you look at the big
California kid.
Yeah, you look at the big picture stuff right now in that 2026 recruiting cycle around the country. And right now, and it's early, right, for the most part, USC's number 1, Clemson 2. LSU comes in at 3, Texas A&M at 4, and then Ohio State currently sits at 5. And you just got to look at some of this stuff. They have 9 commits in the 2026 class. USC has 19 right now. Clemson has 13. So as they add to this class, which I'm sure they will, and it will be high-end talent, I don't think any of us are going to be surprised to see them obviously stay in the top 5, but maybe take over that 1 or 2 spot in the foreseeable future. So just good stuff, and this is what you want, obviously, if you're Coach Day or your guys going out there representing the brand, acquiring high-end talent, keeping that talent, and then turning them into good players to rock out on Saturdays.
Transition time for Ohio State men's basketball. Jake Diebler joined the boys from Morning Juice, and he talked about the 2 departures. One that's a little more confusing to all of us, which is the Michi Johnson, and then Aaron Bradshaw, who did not live up to his expectations.
Michi went through a lot this year, and, I'm glad he got a chance to kind of share his story. Clearly, he feels a comfortability at South Carolina, so, happy for him. And, I think Aaron and I had some really honest conversations, and, feel like it's best for him. I think he feels it's best for him to go find a situation with maybe some more consistent minutes and opportunity. And listen, that's what this time of year is all about. It's about honest conversation.
Interesting. Because there are some... Listen, he's not going to throw a kid under the bus. But there's some natural follow-up there, which is, well, then you don't feel that he has any more developing under you to do. Unless he wants out, and then there's nothing you can do. But if you really want him, you can keep him. This day and age, if you really want a kid, you can find a way to keep him financially.
If you have the backing, you do.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Yeah. But I think I just could hear it in his voice. It hasn't worked out, and I don't think I'm going to be able to tap into anything more. It's weird because the guy's 7'1", and he came out as a 5-star kid, 5-star center, going to Kentucky. And when you land him, you feel like, well, maybe he just couldn't break in the lineup at UK. Well, the case now is he just didn't live up to it here. But when he said you got to have an honest conversation with a kid, what that means to me is that I had to be honest with him and say that
not a fit here.
I don't see the future with you here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't want him on the roster, but when you're committing to a guy financially, or maybe what that kid thinks he deserves or wants or playing time or whatever it is, that's what I read with Jake. And there's no way publicly, and I would never want him to give you every last reason why he doesn't want him or can't have him or whatever it may be. But, yeah, it just sounded to me like...
Could be a lot of different things.
We've tapped out with him here. He needs a fresh start, and we need to move on.
No doubt. Yeah. It could be a lot of different things. It could be a culture thing. It could be just an X and O thing, and baked into those X and O's, it could be, hey, on this end of the floor, I like what you bring, but on this end of the floor, not so much. You just never know.
Which end of the floor is that?
Well, I'm just saying, there could be a lot of different factors, right? If you are a head coach and looking at a player, maybe identifying the reason why he doesn't fit for your program. So now they've got to go back out there and find guys that can give him more of a presence down low, because you lost Okpara and what he was able to do. You thought you got it right with Stewart, and Bradshaw. And along this season, we talked a lot about the rebounding or lack thereof in certain games, and that came back to bite them, and they thought Bradshaw would be one of those guys. So just a critical area of, the team that you have to have, obviously, is that type of presence on both ends. And this program in the last couple seasons has been searching for those guys to do it consistently.
Yeah. It's one of the ones that's kind of wild. It didn't work out better than it did with Bradshaw. 7-1, McDonald's All-American, all that stuff. Yeah. But that's why we've talked about it, because it's not a science. Bruce Thornton, though, could be a big one. And he told Bobby and Beamer about that he does expect him to be back.
We're really, really excited about the retention aspect of building out the roster. I think that's where it starts heading into next year. You've seen, John Mobley Jr. announced. There will be some other announcements here soon. Bruce Thornton is coming back. As long as, he's going to go through the NBA draft process, which I'm really excited for him to go through, get feedback, and listen, if he can stay in and be an NBA player, great, because I think he is an NBA player. Maybe he's not yet, and if he's not, he's going to come back to Ohio State, and I think that's something that should be celebrated, right? It says something about, what we have going here, someone in today's landscape who's going to be a Buckeye. We have a saying in our program, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. And who better lives that out than Bruce?
Well, he's a 3-time captain, so you can really say it about him more than you could say it about a lot of other guys. I don't know if you'd say the same thing about Bradshaw. Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. I just don't think, right. I think he's the guy that you say it about, no matter what happens, because he's going to see it through. And by the way, he also knows that it's Buckeyes or NBA. It's not somewhere else. Mm-hmm. At least that's what it sounded like.
Staying loyal to the soil, and you got to respect that, because it's something that in this era of just college athletics, a guy like Bruce Thornton, I'm sure, has plenty of suitors, right, when they want to get him over their university and get him in the building and try to push for a Final Four and all those things, because I think he could be that player in the right situation. But great to have him back in Columbus, no doubt.
We'll dig into a lot of this with Adam Jardy at 2:30, so don't miss that. He covers the team. And we'll come back with fill in the blanks in our deep dive. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking with no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. It's your money, right? So keep more of it. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Schefter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Good news for both the Buckeye basketball and football teams today. Jake Diebler joined Morning Juice this morning and said that Bruce Thornton is going through the NBA draft process, but he would return to the Buckeyes next season. The football team got another recruit in 4-star safety Simeon Caldwell out of Jacksonville. He's the 34th overall prospect, according to ESPN. The Columbus Blue Jackets back on home ice tonight when they take on the Colorado Avalanche at 7:30. Elvis gets the start in goal. Pre-game coverage here on The Fan gets underway at 7. And the Cincinnati Reds begin their first road trip of the season in Milwaukee tonight. They face the Brewers at 7:40. Nick Lodolo gets the start for Cincinnati. That one gets underway on ESPN Columbus at 7:10. The Guardians with an off day. The Clippers host St. Paul this evening at 6:15.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
All right, back at it. Final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Adam Jardy covers Ohio State hoops for the Columbus Dispatch. Will join us at 2:30. Get an idea where this program is going. We know where it's been. Find out where it's going. You heard Bake say the Jackets back on the ice tonight. Every game matters. It's unbelievable. Every shift matters. Took down the Avs very early in the season, in a game that I was kind of surprised they won at the time because it was on road ice. The Avs, I think, had lost their opener. I can't quite remember. I don't think Elvis was in net at that time to start the year. So it was one of those games where I thought, okay, wow. Things were kind of, that's a nice win early on. Now, they haven't played them in a long time. And I was watching the Avs and the Hawks last night. Hawks gave them everything they could ask for last night. Avs actually won in a shootout, but it's a back-to-back. Trying to get out of Chicago. There was a storm. Couldn't. So I had to fly in today. I don't know if they're here already. I assume they are. I don't think they decided to bus it on over. So this is a timely deal for them. I like, everyone likes playing teams that are coming in off back-to-backs. So,
yeah, man. And
let's keep lighting up that cannon. So, this will be a very, very interesting game tonight to see the Jackets follow up. Coach Dino was talking the other day about how he didn't think they started out well. I thought they took some risks that paid off. I thought they jumped them pretty good. But, listen, the Avs are a good team, very good team. And so I don't think they're just going to lay down. Everybody knows that. But let's just see what can happen with a team that has, I think they're a little bit of swag back in the Jackets.
I completely agree with you. You mentioned the first matchup, and that was very early on in the season. I think both teams had already only played 2 games to that point. It was Tarasov and net that night.
Okay.
So you are remembering that correctly. And the Jackets put 6 up on the board. And so, the Avs, as you laid out, obviously a well-rounded team. Last 10 games have been playing pretty well, 7-2-1, and they're only giving up a couple goals each in those games. And you got the Jackets on their side of things who have found some confidence and a decent amount of momentum. When you look at 2 out of the last 3 games, Jackets put up 7 on, the Canucks and 8 goals against the Predators. And so this is what you want right now. And some of the reinforcements that have been back, that have worked their way back from injuries, and Monahan's playing well right now. You look at Boone, and over his last 10, he's got 5 goals and 4 assists. That's what you wanted. Those reinforcements, those vets, more importantly, that know how important this time of year is to hit the ground running and knock off some of that rust. And so looking forward to this one, because it kind of feels to me like the playoffs have already started for the Jackets with how pressure-packed these games are. And this is one of those good tests that you want to have. And more importantly, you want to have this test in your own barn, which they do tonight. So that'll be a very, very fun atmosphere over at Nationwide tonight.
Yeah, and you'll be scoreboard watching a little bit because Montreal plays Boston. Boston's been a massive disappointment. You want to talk about mailing it in. They've lost 9 in a row, so I have no real confidence that Boston's going to help us and play spoiler there. Maybe they will. You never know, but I feel like you have to keep winning. You got to win this one, too, because you're on home ice.
Yeah.
And you're taking on a team that's coming in on a back-to-back. So we'll see what the Jackets can provide. That'll be at 7:30 at Nationwide. All right, time for a little fill in the blanks. Ominous music. Wow, really crank that.
Yeah, we've got to set the tone. You hear that violin working in the background? What you got, baby Chet?
There we go. See, that's when we start. We got to let it intro itself a little bit.
That's how you let the beat build. Like Lil Wayne taught us on the Carter 3, that's how you let the beat build. And I can't say the next word. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to.
I don't even. Oh. Yeah, you can. All right, so this is what we got for the fill in the blank. First up, the Braves will have to lose blank games in a row for you to think that they're not going to make the playoffs.
15.
Oh, and 15?
15.
10.
10 for you, and they're cooked they are?
I'll tell you why. Because if they get swept by the Marlins in Atlanta, which isn't happening, but if it did, then I'd be willing to say something's up, something's wrong. And I know they'd have 152 left, but I'm going to go with 10. Because that means they were swept by the Marlins.
Who are not supposed to be good at all. It does look like they'll run into Sandy Alcantara in the last game of that series, but your point is standing strong because the Marlins are not going to be good this year.
Who do they play after that?
Well, here's why I'm going to shave my number down to 13. Because right after that's a 3-game series with the Philadelphia Phillies. So a lot of NL East action happening for the Atlanta Braves. You go to 0-13, losing 6 games in a row to teams in your division. Yeah, we're putting you under the dirt. We're putting you in a casket.
The Phillies are real, though.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So if they go 0-13, they lose their next 3 to go to 0-10, and then lose 3 more after that to go to 0-13 with 6 straight losses to NL East teams, you're done. So I'll go 0-13, baby Chet.
All right. The maximum amount of people you will allow yourself to be in a group chat with is blank.
I am currently in a group chat that has 8 or 9 total. And that's probably, I'm maxed out there. And it's active all day, every day. Love the gang. Love my guys. But it's active. Sometimes I got to put it on mute.
Including yourself in that number?
Yeah. 8 to 9.
For me, it's me plus 4. Anything more than that is exhausting. And they just keep coming and they won't stop. So remove yourself.
So 3 golf buddies and someone to drive the cart.
Well, I went 4. 5, me being the 5th.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I could be talked into less. But group chats at 4 or less would be about my number, my cutoff.
The Cowboys trading for Joe Milton is blank.
Insurance. Dak insurance. And I'm not that mad at it. I don't think they gave up that much for him. And you guys have seen him throw a football. This guy isn't awful. I feel like this is Dak insurance. Where's Trey Lance?
In the wind.
Okay.
I don't think he's committed to anybody right now. Could be wrong, but I don't think he's on a roster. Maybe can you check that for me?
No, he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Okay. Yeah. Thought so.
So he's waiting for calls from the UFL.
7th round. Patriots are trading at Joe Milton and a 7th round pick to the Cowboys in exchange for a 5th rounder? Absolutely. Dak insurance. I don't mind this at all.
For me, the Cowboys trading for Joe Milton is insignificant. What they are saying is real, but if it doesn't come to that, meaning Dak missing games, then this is not going to be a thing at all. He's a combine all-star. He is a highlight reel all-star. But really what he is an inconsistent, flawed quarterback. That's why he had to transfer from Michigan and go to Tennessee. He was supposed to be the guy after Hendon Hooker to take it to a whole nother level, and that really wasn't the case either. And so he's got some good highlights out there that you'll see floating around from preseason games and all of that. But to me, it's insignificant.
I think it also, I think it also kind of, you wouldn't say they give Dak all that money. So it's not like he's going to light a fire under Dak and put pressure on him, I don't believe.
Well, Bruce Drennan did double down today and say that he still holds tight to his sources and that Dak to the Browns is still possible.
Well, possible is different than actively negotiating. That was his first report, that they were actively negotiating.
Okay, then actively negotiating.
Well, no, that was his first one.
I didn't watch the video on Twitter. I just saw the caption.
Well, Schefter told us he's untradeable.
Because of the contract. Yep.
All right. Cooper Flagg is a blank prospect than Zion Williamson was.
Cooper Flagg is a more reliable prospect than what Zion Williamson is, because I have no questions about Cooper Flagg's dedication to the craft. More importantly, the work that he's going to put in. And that's always been Zion's thing, is that the talent's there. Just, hey, does he really care to take care of his body in the offseason?
Coming out of Duke.
And all that stuff? Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to stay there. I think that's the case. More reliable than Zion because of how I think Cooper Flagg is wired. And there aren't those type of questions as they are for Zion. So I'll go more reliable.
I'll say he's in your vein, a higher floor prospect. I don't know if he had the ceiling that Zion had. Zion was technically a better scorer and a better rebounder. He was more explosive. I also feel like I could fill in the blank with a more well-rounded prospect than Zion. But because of the assist totals and the fact that he's a much better three-point shooter than Zion. So they're different players, clearly. So I'll say he's a higher floor / more well-rounded prospect.
And we'll cap it off here. Signing long-term contract extensions to MLB players who have played 1 year or less is blank.
Risky business. It is. And I'm not saying they don't work out. And you can benefit a lot by having control of a reasonable salary on a 5 to 10 year deal. But if you're signing a young player and you got 1 year on him and you're signing him to a 5 to 10, I love the control of it. That's fine. Maddie knows that, but I feel like there's risk. Everybody knows that. I'm
going to go calculated. because I believe it's calculated by both sides. And I think one of the deals you're referring to is this Christian Campbell kid for the Boston Red Sox who yesterday
like him a lot.
And Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, right. But see, here's the thing with Jackson Merrill, you had last year to look at. The body of work is a lot bigger. Christian Campbell's played less than 10 games in Major League Baseball. And they are saying, okay, we believe, but we're going in on what we think is going to be a contract that's going to benefit us. 8 years, $60 million for what he's supposed to be is probably going to end up looking like a steal. He's already off to an amazing start in Major League Baseball, but it's calculated by both sides. Christian Campbell, you're 20 years old, 21 years old. They're handing you $60 million. You'd be a fool to pass that up. From the front office side of things, they think they're ahead of things. And their calculations are telling him, we get this deal done, it's going to be a steal for us.
Yeah, because it eats into the arbitration and the free agent years. It just got to work out. So you can definitely see it both ways. All right, we're going to come back. And I said earlier in the program that I haven't heard an owner in a long time admit defeat on a player that's still on his roster. Jimmy Haslam has done that. Well, Deshaun says, allow me to retort. He has. We'll tell you what he had to say next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Skyline nachos are back, and now there's a spicy version. Get them with Skyline's cheddar or habanero cheese, topped with fiery jalapeno slices. But hurry, Skyline's regular and new spicy nachos are only at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through April 15th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
The Jackets are fighting for a playoff spot, and they need your help. Send your supportive love waves through the radio by listening to Jackets coverage here on The Fan. If they lose, it's your fault. No pressure. The Fan.
Have you considered how much has occurred in the last 85 years? World War II, the psychedelic 60s, Vietnam, disco, the internet, the PC, the smartphone, and AI? To say the last 85 years have been monumental is quite an understatement. You know what's been constant every step of the way? Oakland Nursery. Since 1940, Oakland Nursery has provided the finest quality plant material at fair prices, backed up with expert service. Happy 85th. If you haven't been to Oakland Nursery, you simply haven't been to a nursery.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Expect some dry time early this afternoon as temperatures climb into the low 70s and upper 60s. We'll see winds die down as well out of that southwesterly direction around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Returning showers and some embedded thunderstorms move back in this evening as we fall down to the lower 50s overnight. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Erica Calora.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Ice, Bet365 time.
Let's talk about it because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary, and Bet365 is also the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. If you're a new customer, listen closely because they got a great deal for you right out of the gates. You get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, and it's win or lose. Win or lose, you're getting that $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. So hop on over to Bet365 and download the Bet365 app today. We got big series from our Redlegs right now. The bats are cold. They're cold, wasted good pitching. Hunter Green looked incredible yesterday, and Ellie and the gang didn't help him out at all. So hopefully that changes against a division rival. I'm looking at Matty McClain and his total bases tonight against the Brew Crew. Give me 2 total bags for Matt McClain at plus 140. Matt McClain total bases at 2 AR for plus 140. That is the juice.
Might live bet the Texas Open here. Spieth bogeyed number 1. And so that puts him tied for 65th. I could grab him for a top 20 finish right now.
Okay.
At plus 115. Homecoming of sorts. He's in better form than he was. I don't like this big drive he hit into the trees on 1. But he does have a par 5 that he's on next or a 2. So I'll take a little bit of value there, plus 115 on Spiether to finish top 20.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Again, make sure you're downloading the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, so you guys already know that Jimmy Haslam spoke to a small group of Browns beat writers, including Cleveland.com, at the NFL annual meeting in Palm Beach. He admitted the Watson trade with the Texans was an epic fail. The quote was, well, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. We took a big swing and miss with Deshaun. We thought we had the quarterback. We didn't, and we gave up a lot of picks to get him, so we got to dig ourselves out of that hole. As a reminder, Browns fans don't need this, but for people keeping score, they gave 5 picks, including 3 first-rounders, and then handed him $230 million. It was the first and only fully guaranteed contract in the history of the NFL. And now, people were claiming that it really wasn't Haslam's idea, that he came through with the guaranteed deal, but he did shoulder the blame. Listen, I've said this, I think, numerous times. The Deshaun Watson was an entire organizational decision. It ends with me and D, so hold us accountable. Deshaun heard that, and I'll ask you this. Do you before I tell you what he had to say?
Yeah.
Because I said the other day that I think this was Jimmy giving Browns fans a little bit of pound of flesh. Like, it's on me, I screwed up. And then also, in another way, asking for a little patience. We got to dig ourselves out. I admit I was wrong. Hopefully you'll understand that. We'll get it right, but be patient. Or could it be, and I don't think this is it, that he's trying to motivate Deshaun to see if he can get anything out of him again?
I'd be surprised if it was the latter. I think the Deshaun Watson era in Cleveland, as far as stuff on the field goes, is done. Like he popped the same Achilles twice this past offseason. They're going to be in the mix over the next year or two to find their franchise quarterback of the future. And so I just don't think there's any hope left when it comes to that angle of it. And so I actually respected what he said on record as far as the owner getting out in front of that and taking ownership, even though it was obvious, right? But hearing that is another thing, and I appreciate that. But what you said, I think, is big, right? Like, it's just something you don't really hear, especially when the guy is still attached somewhat
working
to your
out
franchise.
Your facility.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, but maybe in Jimmy's mind is like, well, I know it's done anyway, so blanket.
Yeah,
you know,
I think he's trying to set it up before the draft. Like, don't be upset at us if we're not drafting our savior at number 2. Right. We have a hole to dig out of, and that may not be the right way to go. Yeah. So I'll give you this, only to tell you that you may get this.
Right.
Here's Deshaun on his Instagram. Maybe if I weren't built for this, I'd let it phase me. Shock the world.
Okay.
Second Achilles surgery. His agent, David Mulugeta, responded to that post from his client. They hate you, then they love you, then they hate you again. That's why you never live for the applause. Lock in for.
Okay. So the inner circle's getting a little, they're riled up again. And I get it. Especially if you're Deshaun as an athlete, competitor, how you're wired is to always push back on this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's the same owner that signed off on a check as you laid off the top that gave you $230 million.
Yeah, he doesn't have to apologize to Deshaun for saying what he said.
So it's like, I guess if he were coming back from a significant hamstring injury, then I'd be like, okay, you know what? Maybe the timing of that wasn't right, but he's not going to play. And so I give Jimmy some grace in saying that, while also understanding on the flip side of that, well, that could tick you off a little bit if you're Deshaun Watson. I get it.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying that he didn't have to say it. He didn't have to. He said, listen, Deshaun's working out hard. Yes, obviously, we haven't gotten the results that we've wanted to get. We certainly are backing Deshaun right now in his rehab. We're not making any definitive statements about his career.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly we all wished for better. He's suffered injuries. He's played hurt a little bit. And psychologically, he's got a lot of work to do, and physically. But right now, he is still a Cleveland Brown. We're going to get this draft right. He's still a part of this team. Mm-hmm. Like, he could have gone complete cliche.
Yeah, man.
But he didn't, because I think it was motivated to tell Browns fans, if you think that, if you're mad at us for not taking Schefter at 2, let me reiterate, we put ourselves in this mess, and we have to dig ourselves out. And it may be more than just one guy.
Right. And, the quote that you're talking about is when he said, we have to get it right in the draft. And if the quarterback isn't there, they'll take a year or two to get that right. So be patient with us. Mm-hmm. Be patient with us. If we draft Abdul, we draft Travis Hunter at 2, he's letting us know, and the Browns fan base know, we do have some type of plan. It may not be the sexiest plan, but we have a plan. But also give us a little bit of grace, because when it comes to identifying the quarterback probably in the draft, we may not take that swing for a year or 2.
Yeah. It may not be at number 2. May take a player. May take a really high floor, good player, safe player, star player, but may not be the quarterback.
Right. No doubt.
All right. There's your pre-snap read for today. We'll come back with our friend Adam Jardy. When do we want to do our little prize, Matty?
We're going to do our prize at the end of the next segment.
Okay.
At the end of the next segment. But before we do that, I got to talk to the fellas, AR, because I got a question. Did you know that the Columbus Men's Clinic is where you need to be if you're not feeling right, if you're not feeling healthy, groggy, not the same energy you used to have, whether it was working out or being with your partner? This is the place you need to go. Because if you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had one of those bad experiences with a clinic that kind of opened quickly and closed and forgot about you, it's time to get over to the CMC because they'll help you move forward with your sex life, your career, and your gym goals. And they specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years, guys, has been number one in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and just get on in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
All right, we come back with Adam Jardy and find out the inside story on Aaron Bradshaw, why they lost confidence in him, and where this program is going. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Why are we quizzing kids on dinosaurs?
Comedian Sam Morrill, The Errors Tour.
Some cop pulls me over. He's like, what kind of dinosaur?
Live at Davidson Theater, April 10th.
I'm like, a Stegosaurus? He's like, step out of the vehicle.
Get tickets now at kappa.com.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747. WeedmanUSA.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole.
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it, off-season for Ohio State men's basketball. As the revolving door turns over there, trying to build a roster that can challenge for the NCAA tournament, be a part of the dance, and get this thing back on the right track. The guy that covers the team is Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch, and he spends a few minutes with us now here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Adam, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. How we doing today?
Not too bad. Listen, we expect this now. No shocks anymore about guys leaving or staying and contemplating stuff. The Aaron Bradshaw thing, it just feels like they kind of don't need to season him anymore. They've seen what they needed to see. But you can tell me a little bit more on the follow-up there. We heard Jake this morning on Morning Juice talk about how, he had an honest conversation with him. Have they just lost faith that he's kind of bumped his head on the ceiling here at Ohio State, and that's all they can expect?
I mean, I think that's certainly part of it. I think, it's been pretty telling that Diebler has spoken multiple times here since the season ended and even late in the year about some of the things that they want the program to be about and really emphasize, the toughness and things like that. And I just think it was a tough fit to begin with for Bradshaw. He just really didn't fit the mold of a prototypical Big Ten center. I think it was a really difficult year for him, both on and off the court. And that ends up in a situation where it just says, do you think you can be the best version of the team you want to be with this person or without? And I think it became pretty obvious that as the season went on, they were better off in the future without him. And so I'm interested to see what that next step looks like for Aaron and where he ends up. But I just think, we saw a year of Aaron Bradshaw trying to go against Big Ten centers. It didn't go very well.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to ask you about Bruce Thornton, and I know he's saying he's expected to come back for another lap around the track here at Ohio State, but he's looking like he's going to get some NBA feedback. I know you talked to Sam Vecini, who does a great job covering the sport and some of these draft prospects. What did he have to say about Bruce and maybe what the NBA thinks of him right now?
So when I talked to Sam back in March, he said that Bruce right now would essentially he might get a two-way contract in the NBA, and that's kind of the ceiling for him as he saw it there as the season was winding down. I actually talked to an NBA scout earlier today to get some of their thoughts, and they kind of emphasized that point that like Bruce right now, like if he went to the NBA, most likely probably a G League type of player. And probably not the type of spot that you're looking to use a draft pick on. Like you can go out and you can get that kind of guy without having to use a draft pick. So, I mean, there is NBA potential there, and there are certainly attributes he has that line up with the NBA. He's a solid shooter. He's physical. He's tough. He's got some things that the league looks for. He doesn't have great size. There are some questions about his athleticism. And I think ultimately this ends up being a situation where Bruce gets that kind of feedback and is able to make his decision for next year and return to Ohio State. That's where this looks very clearly headed.
Adam, publicly, Ross Bjork has stood by Jake. It's early on in his career. This is the first full season. I know he had an emotional rescue there on the year that they got rid of Chris Holtmann. But I wanted to get your opinion on where you believe the investment is in this program right now and what level it will get to here this offseason and moving forward.
Can you explain a little, what do you mean there by an investment in the program?
Like how much he's going to back him NIL-wise. How much, what kind of blank check is he going to give Jake Diebler and that program to get the talent to compete and get this team to a dance? I feel like that he is talking confidently that he likes Jake. He's the guy he hired. He thinks he's right for the job, but not hamstringing him. Basically saying, yes, we're going to give you what it takes to get this back.
Well, I think that there's a couple layers to that. And one is that with the new model moving forward and revenue sharing, at Ohio State, football is going to get the bulk of the money. And we all know that. That's not any sort of trade secret there. And I think that has an impact on then how much the basketball program can go out and spend compared to Big East schools, even some A-10 schools. Like there are schools that you would not expect to have more money than Ohio State that are going to have more money than Ohio State basketball in these coming years because they're going to have more available funds provided by their university than what Ohio State is going to be able to provide. And so, my understanding of kind of where things financially sit for Ohio State from an NIL standpoint is that the foundation has been putting in significant work. And if not for that, I'm not exactly sure that they have the kind of war chest that they need to retain a Bruce Thornton and the other key guys that they've really focused on this year. So I don't think that they're in the best position possible from an NIL standpoint. I don't think that's from a lack of effort or fundraising on the basketball team's part or the foundation's part. I just think that's the reality of being the men's basketball program at Ohio State.
What do you think they acquired here in getting Gabe Cupps, right? He's obviously been in the Big Ten for a couple years over there in Bloomington. The numbers aren't crazy right now, but that's never, the whole story in some of these situations. But when you look at Gabe Cupps, the player, and potentially what he could be bringing to the floor next year, how would you identify his skill set?
I've been surprised by the negative backlash I've gotten from people about their acquisition of Gabe because, first of all, he's an Ohio Mr. Basketball player. He's played at a high level in the state. He's really tough, competitive type of player. He goes to Indiana, and that freshman year, he wasn't a Big Ten body yet. He still had he would not have played nearly the role that he played as a freshman. I think he started 22 games. If not for the fact that they had a fifth-year guy in Xavier Johnson who really struggled and missed time and was out of the lineup, thrust Gabe into a position that he wasn't ready for yet. He was a freshman. And then he was hurt last year. He only played 4 games as a sophomore. But, I've talked to some people I know that follow Indiana really closely, and they've said, man, you guys just got a player that's going to torture us for the next 3 years. Just a tough, physical dude who makes the guys around him better. I think, what does that look like from a production standpoint? we'll see. But I think he fits the mold of like the type of mindset and mentality that Diebler wants in his program. And I think there's real reason to believe, without even being, looking at this through scarlet colored glasses, but you're talking about a guy who's back in his home state, who played a lot as a freshman, was injured as a sophomore, now has a real chance to take a big step this year. So I think he's going to do better than I think what the perception is right now, because it's been so long since we've seen him. And when we saw him, he was a little freshman. He's still a long way to grow.
Yeah, he's got a lot of heart, and now I think he has a lot to prove. And I think that could be a good combination for him. You had the final word with Michi. What do you come away with believing led to just the departure, the whole thing, not playing here? I know they invested a lot in NIL to get him, and it didn't work out. Put the final bow on it for us. What do you come away believing happened?
Well, I believe that there's a lot of factors here. I believe that the mental health aspect of it is certainly one of them. I mean, I know from having known Michi as long as I have that, like, he didn't seem like the same guy when I would interact with him as the season went on. He didn't play like the player that Ohio State thought they were getting. I do think that stuff is all part of it. I think to then leave after 10 games and say that that didn't have anything to do with the ability to play 10 games, shut it down, get a medical waiver for mental health to redshirt and get another season. Saying that wasn't on the mind when you leave after 10 games kind of suspends disbelief a bit there. Like I don't see a lot of coincidence there. That seems very premeditated is not the right word, but that seems on purpose. And I talked to players, people on the staff after he left, and he went dark. He wasn't talking to people like months later. Guys still hadn't heard from him since he left. But I also know, like, he wasn't getting NIL money once he left the program. Like, they weren't still paying him to not be on this roster. So they were able to save some of that and bank that for next year. But ultimately, it just didn't work. It didn't work he didn't seem to be fitting into the way the team was playing. He didn't seem to look like himself. And it looked like that was all weighing on him at a pretty high level. And so ultimately, he's back at South Carolina. We'll see what that looks like. But just a disappointment of a year, honestly, and not at all how we thought this story was going to go.
Last thing for me, Adam, I just want to look ahead to more of the all-season stuff and, some transfer portal names that, you think we should be keeping an eye on. It's never a solidified thing that you're getting guys for sure in this era. I understand that. But maybe some targets in the portal that you look at that could be good fits for Diebler and his staff. Who are a couple of those guys?
Well, they definitely need some size, and they definitely need to be bringing in at least one center, if not two. I know they hosted a Jalen Washington from North Carolina this week, and I think they feel like they're in a pretty good spot with him. I know they've been linked with Christoph Tilley from Santa Barbara, I believe it was, Santa Clara. I'm blanking on the top of my head, so many names right now. But another big dude that would fit that role and would give them, another option down low. Those are some of the top ones that I've been hearing recently, but you never know how this stuff is going to shake out. Like, who's going to enter the portal tomorrow? Well, not tomorrow because it's a dead period, but who enters the portal as soon as it opens back up here in a couple of weeks or a couple of days? And it's just it's a weird timeline of the best guy available right now might be the fifth best available guy in a week. Like, you just don't know how this is all going to shake out. But I do know the biggest priority to start off with was retaining the guys that they wanted to retain. And I know they feel really good about the ones that they've publicly announced, the ones that will be coming here shortly. And now they gotta add some size. I mean, that's really the big thing now, is if you can get a legitimate big, I think you've got something. You got the chance for a pretty good year, a pretty solid season.
Great stuff, man, as always. Thanks for the insight, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me. Have a great one.
You too. Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch, covering Ohio State basketball here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. All right, Maddie, prize time.
It's time to give away right now a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili. Earlier in the program, I told AR that I had a dream. What was that dream? What was I doing in said dream? 614-821-9710 is our hotline number. You get it right, baby. Chet will hit you with a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili.
Now, the big question is, for our brand new producer this week, Does he know the answer?
Yeah, I remember this because when he said, I remember specifically when he said, I had a dream, I kept thinking about Martin Luther King.
Okay. All right.
I had a dream.
This is not that. This is, it's very, phones are ringing. Get to work.
So throw at the break, please.
Hotline's blinging.
Tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon, even if this promo is playing in the morning. No judgment.
Oh, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin.
Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you.
Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin.
Or online at crowncarsdublin.com.
Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done, enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City, or at goodfeet.com.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
And today, Pella is excited to announce our 100-year anniversary.
Cut! Leslie, you accidentally said 100 years.
Not an accident, Wilson.
What?
When you do the windows that look the best, you tend to stick around for a while.
I can't compete with that. Buy from her.
Get the windows that have been around for 100 years. The windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
You can catch all the Final Four action on 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fans HD2.
Live coverage from San Antonio starts Saturday at 4.
Your home of the Final Four. 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan.
Here on the Fan, we talk about getting rid of joint pain with the regenerative experts at QC Kinetics. There's no surgery, no downtime, just your body's own healing properties working to give you relief. So you can enjoy doing the activities that you love, like the fastest growing sport in the country. That's pickleball. And here in the Columbus area, QC Kinetics is proud to be a sponsor of Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club. Learn, grow your skills, challenge yourself, and meet other pickleball players. Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club features the ultimate indoor facility with 16 state-of-the-art courts. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, Paddle Tap welcomes all skill levels. See what you're missing. Call Paddle Taps and mention QC Kinetics, and you'll get 1 hour of free play, courtesy of QC Kinetics, the people who take care of those achy joints, so you can play for years to come. For details, go to pbtaps.com. That's pbtaps.com. pbtaps.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, my friend, who knew that Maddie's dream was
I was on the bag for my man AR at the Masters. Who knew, baby Chet?
It was my fellow Pittsburgh sports fan, Jack in Columbus.
Shout out to you, Jack. Thanks for listening. Enjoy that $50 gift card to Skyline Chili. And more importantly, I hope you enjoy those Skyline nachos. They got spicy nachos, too, over there, Jack, so be careful, big dog.
Maddie, was there any truth that in this dream you said to me, I hear you lost your swing. I guess we got to go find it.
What movie?
Bagger Vance. Inside each one of us, Schefter,
did the Caddyshack
one true
2 trailer,
athletic swing.
Did the Caddyshack 2 trailer do anything for you?
Not too bad. Guess who was in the very, very end of the trailer?
There's a lot of people I saw in that
very
trailer.
end, running the simulator.
Oh, it was Paige.
Yeah, our girl Paige Spiranak out at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it'll be a fun movie. I'm not really. Those original type comedies like those are very, very difficult to duplicate.
No doubt.
But some good cameos in it.
Yeah. It'll be.
Expectations are kind of middle of the road.
I think you should go into it with low expectations. It's just going to be a fun movie with a whole bunch of cameos, and I think that'll make it entertaining.
I'll tell you, I felt the same thing about Anchorman 2. And when I first saw it, I thought it wasn't good at all. Yeah. And then as I've seen it, I've actually think, you know what, it wasn't a horrible sequel. There was some good stuff.
Gotta like it. I got you. What you got, baby chat?
All right. First question. It is National Burrito Day. What are you putting on your burrito when you are ordering at a fast casual establishment? And I still got to get that hot honey over Chipotle.
AR said it was a little spicy, didn't you?
It's got a kick to it.
Nice little kick, little pow to it.
Yeah.
Man, what am I putting in my burrito? It's not much. Like, I'll double up, me steak, chicken, some fajitas in there.
No rice.
No rice?
He doesn't do
If
rice.
I get a burrito, I got to get rice. But I don't get burritos. But if I get a burrito, I have to get rice.
I don't get burritos, but if I did get one,
then I'm getting some rice in there. Get the brown rice in there. But I'll go chicken, steak, fajitas, brown rice, some of that cheese. Not mad at corn either. And then you got to have that vinaigrette drizzle as well. So, yeah, that's my burrito. It's kind of basic.
Yeah. Mine's not going to excite anybody. It's mostly healthy aside from putting a big dollop of guac on there. I gotta have it.
It's not that bad. It's
I gotta have
healthy
it.
Fats.
Yeah, I don't need. You know what? I don't need the sour. I mean, listen, I've seen people go through there. I don't even know how they wrap that damn thing. Like, it is like, are you going
There's
into
an art to it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then they split, and then they got to do it over again.
Yeah,
and
tough.
Yeah, if you ever want to, if you want to hear something pretty funny, look up Sebastian Maniscalco do his little Chipotle routine. And
that is good. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay,
it's actually. You may not love all of his stuff, but that little 3 minutes is worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check it out.
And let's pick a random one.
And that, my boy, is a damn truth.
All right. OSU baseball is going to be playing at Wrigley Field in May. If you could take batting practice in an MLB stadium, which stadium are you selecting?
Ooh.
You got to think about righties and lefties here, too.
I love this question.
Thank you.
I'm a righty. AR, I think I would just want to pepper the Green Monster. I think I want to go to Fenway. Pepper the Green Monster, see how many I could hit over the Green Monster.
Over?
Yeah, over the wall. And the Green Monster. See how many home runs I could hit there.
He's hitting half-court shots, 8 out of 10. He's hitting one.
No, I didn't say
shots over the Green Monster.
I give you
multiple.
One out of 10
You said
for
multiple,
sure.
I thought.
No, I said for sure I give you one. And then you said once you get to like number 7 and 8, that's when the nerves kick in if I've missed 7 or 8 in a row. But yeah, I'd like to go
Fenway's a good choice.
Yeah, give me Fenway Park.
Fenway's a solid choice. I think I'd probably go a little more either old school feel.
Okay.
Because I'm going for feel.
Yeah.
I'm built for comfort, not speed.
You want the Ivy out there? Wrigley? Is that where we're going?
Not a Cub fat. Not a Cub fat. I would say either put me at Camden or Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
so. Baltimore or LA?
Yeah, I feel like that would be just to have the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the backdrops of the other. Kauffman Stadium wouldn't be bad. A little waterfall action.
Kansas City.
KC.
Yeah.
Family would like that.
Hitting in a dome would be fun for me too. I just don't know which dome I'd want to hit in. Like Houston, if I wanted that same feeling with short porch and left, I'd go to Houston.
Can I interest you in the Crawford boxes?
Yeah, that would be fun too, because it'd make you feel like you're doing something when it's like 310 feet down the line. So I'll go Houston if I want to hit the dome.
We have kids out there shagging the balls.
You know how I feel about that.
You can hit one of them in the dome.
It's terrifying.
In the dome.
We don't need that.
You don't want the truth. You make up your own truth.
I mean, the real upset in that question is that Maddie did not pick GABP. That's the upset. That's his team.
Because I've done it before.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been there.
Wow, wait, hold on. When was this?
Years ago. Travel baseball stuff. Got in there.
How many did you hit out, Maddie?
0.
Oh.
Walked out of there humbled.
Did you think you were going to?
Yeah, part of me. Yeah. I was ignorant enough to think that as a teenager.
What, he's ignorant?
All right.
That's it.
Number 3.
Okay.
Is the Caster Connect fan poll today a bad question? The question is, who will win more games this season, the Guardians or the Reds?
I'm picking my team.
No, that's not the question I asked you. I said, is it a bad question?
No, it's not a bad question because I'll never dunk on Shark. I love Shark.
I have sympathy for him. Being that we have 3 segments back-to-back days where I come up with all the same questions over and over again.
I think we picked Guardians before the season, technically.
And now.
Real quick, I want to let you know Bet365 is the exclusive betting partner of Rothman and Ice and our podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting for you.
We come back tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Take action with Logan Services. Get up to $900 off a Train furnace and up to $1,500 off a Train air conditioner. Plus free duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Join your Reds as we honor the Hit King on Wednesday, May 14th for Pete Rose Night. All fans in attendance will receive a Pete Rose replica jersey of the road uniform worn by Pete when the Big Red Machine celebrated back-to-back World Series championships. No one was prouder to wear Cincinnati across their chest than Pete Rose. Be a part of this special night honoring the legendary Charlie Hustle. Get your tickets now at reds.com/Pete.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Yeah, boss asked us to get the Ohio Lottery kiosks ready for the new $20 scratch-off, $2 million extreme cash. With $38 million in total prizes, we had to go big. We had cup holders, monster truck tires, even installed air horns in case somebody reveals the extreme symbol and wins every prize on the scratch-off. Boss thinks the light show's a bit much, but gotta celebrate $2 million top prize winners somehow. So yeah, play $2 million extreme cash from the Ohio Lottery. And if you can tell my boss I did a good job, that'd be cool too. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? TrueHold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much TrueHold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.